Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the greatest live show of all time. That is right, everybody. Now, today, we're going to be doing a continuation of the previous stream, which, for those of you who aren't aware, I talked about the false accusers of Piegirl. Now, before we get started, for those of you who are new here, especially those of you that are watching the VOD, I always make sure to include timestamps in the description below after the fact, so if you want to skip around for whatever wacky reason, you are more than welcome to do so. Now, let me just send the thingy on Discord, and yeah. So, long story short, today I'm actually going to be debating somebody over the Piegirl drama. They're named Spinnling. They're a friend of hahayeah, who is the individual that made a video full of false accusations about what's her face, Piegirl. So I guess that's gonna be the subject matter for discourse today. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. So I guess I'm just gonna get started, and hopefully the audio's good. Sometimes I have issues with that, and yeah. Let me put on the cat ears and then we can get started. So let me just drink some water real quick. I'm sorry. Very important to stay hydrated, folks. Very important. So, regardless, without further ado, I guess we'll get started. I guess we'll do a quick recap of everything that I guess needs to be said. And yeah. I don't know what else. I don't know what else to say. Other than, yeah, I guess I'm ready to debate Spinnling whenever, so if you're watching this, just let me know when, you know, when you're ready, I guess. Yeah, anyways. Oh boy. Hold on, let me, I just need to, go over here, go over to the event, and chat, and now I can read chat. So much fun. I love reading chat. Anyways, hello Lord Pasta Productions. It appears that you are the first person to show up today. Congratulations. I might also talk to Piegirl. So yeah, I guess stay tuned for that. Anyways, yeah, this is gonna be fun. So, I guess, what's the best way of, putting this? Let me put on my headphones, and then I'll be able to think a little bit better. Yeah, so I'm somebody that despises false allegations. For those of you who aren't aware for whatever wacky reason, I think that it's something that's very harmful to the people that are falsely accused. And even if the accusations get proven to be wrong, or exaggerated, or whatever it may be, they stick with the person that's accused. Well, definitely, because it's the internet after all. What do you expect? And what I find interesting is the fact that hahayeah, the person, the main person spreading the accusations, has even gone as far as to admit that the goal was to insinuate that Piegirl is a pedophile. And it just goes to show that these types of people really don't give a shit about things like intellectual honesty. In hahayeah's video, he says, I'm not going to insinuate that they're a PDF file. But later on in a stream, they just straight up admit to it. I'll show the clip right now if you want. Like if we go over here in a, I guess, I don't know if I'd say it's an interview or a debate, but it's from Wacky is Here. It was streamed a month ago. And if we go over here to this timestamp.
Craig.
Yeah. And so, like, do you accept at all that, like, there at least was an insinuation that she was a pedophile?
Yeah, but I think it's founded.
How is it founded?
There you go. Right there. Do you accept that there's an insinuation that she's a pedophile? And he just straight up says yes, and that it's founded. So clearly, he thinks that she's a pedophile. And what evidence does he have that supports such an accusation? Well, he believes that because, well, there was a 2-year age gap between Piegirl when she was 15 and a 13-year-old, or that was the perceived age gap, that makes her a PDF file, along with the fact that he has even gone as far as to accuse Piegirl of jerking off to CP with literally no evidence.
I'll just say, like, what do you think that's implying?
I could have exposed him then. Oh, sorry, I'm reading it really small. I'm literally squinting like an old fucking
Wait, where are we
Chinese
meant
man.
to see this?
It's on my stream. The viewers can see it, but you can't. I could have exposed him then, but at that point of time, I deleted the screenshots I had, as I already sent a tip to the FBI, and Lucy had potential blackmail on me.
Yeah, she covers.
Lucy
she covers
doesn't
this later.
just. Yeah, sorry. What are you saying, Prague?
Oh, she covers this later in the video.
Oh, does she?
I'll bring it up now anyway. She was, I think she says, like, you know, I didn't want the news, but she says as soon as I was done with them, which I mean, saying, and she says as well, like, it wasn't about sending them to the FBI because they were deleted. I think she wanted the news to jerk off to them.
There you go. Right there. Just straight up admits that he believes that she wanted the nudes to jerk off to them. That was her primary goal, as if she's some sort of predator in this situation.
Anyway,
I'm
sorry to be a bit
that's,
unprofessional for a minute. I need to just go for 5 seconds. You guys carry on arguing.
Sure.
Give me,
Fuck
please.
this guy.
Yeah, it's okay. No, I think that's like a really big leap to make, and
It is. And this individual is absolutely correct. Correct. I tried saying correct and right at the same time. Now, Spinnling, whenever you're ready, I am more than willing to debate you. I've even gone as far as to take notes on the video, and yeah. So I guess let me just hold on. I just need to move that so that I can look and make sure that the volume is correct. Move chat over here. I can call in like 2 minutes. All right, bet. So I've created a little document specifically for this debate, with timestamps and everything. So I guess I'll explain what this debate is most likely going to look like before we get into it, because why not? So Spinnling's proposition is going to be that hahayeah's video is fine because nothing in the video is false. My proposition is going to be hahayeah's video is not fine because it comes to conclusions that have insufficient evidence at best and are provably false at worst. So I think that that is going to be the main topic of discourse. We've talked a little bit on Discord in DMs, and I've gone out of my way to sort of not overdo that so that we can talk about it on this live stream, because I think it's important to be able to talk about these things in front of an audience and whatnot. But yeah, I'm interested to hear what kinds of points Spinnling is going to make. And it appears that Spinnling is ready, so it's time to start the VC. And hello, Spinnling.
Sorry, let me mute the chat. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing good. It's like 10 past 1 a.m. my time. hahayeah said he can't. Or
That's
well,
fair.
I'm assuming I think he's asleep. He has school.
All right, that's
So.
fair enough. If he wakes up, he's more than welcome to join at any time. So, feel free to introduce yourself, explain what your position is, and yeah, we can go from there.
I'll just read out what actually no, because I said it really stupid in the chat. I'm just debating on the morals of Matt hahayeah. I think his video is fine. I don't think that he draws any conclusions in his video. I think on the stream he says some things what he wasn't even saying in the video. I understand why people don't like his video. I'm not saying that it's not unreasonable that people don't like his video. But I myself, and as a person who Piegirl even says that she likes, she says she likes me. So,
Okay.
I just find the video to be okay. I think Piegirl comes not only to some really far extents of to what hahayeah has said, but to also go against John, to say that John had spread her docs, got her family in contact, when that's not founded on really anything.
Okay, so I'm less interested in whether or not Piegirl has said things without sufficient evidence. I'm more interested in whether or not hahayeah has said things with insufficient evidence, since that's like sort of like the main proposition, right? So you've agreed to the proposition that hahayeah's video is fine because nothing in the video is false.
Yeah.
And I already kind of said this on stream, but my proposition is hahayeah's video is not fine because it comes to conclusions that have insufficient evidence at best and are provably false at worst. So it seems to be the case that hahayeah had the goal of insinuating that Piegirl is a PDF file. Do you disagree with that?
Not in the video. I feel like he came to that conclusion himself after he made the video.
So his goal wasn't originally to insinuate that, but then later on he retroactively decided that his goal was to insinuate that Piegirl was a PDF file?
That wasn't his goal. His goal was to show what Piegirl has done and to draw your own conclusions, if any.
Well, no. In the live stream, hahayeah literally admits that his goal was to insinuate that Piegirl is a PDF file. I showed the clip on stream.
Can you link me it?
Yeah, so I'll send you a link so let me just copy this and I'll paste it. And then the timestamp is going to be 1:24:42. I left a YouTube comment. So...
Oh yeah, there we go. One second, let me just watch this.
Yeah. So I've already showed this. I'll show it again on stream.
Oh, I was on the
Frag.
stream.
Yeah. And so, like, do you accept at all that, like, there at least was an insinuation that she was a pedophile?
Yeah, but I think it's founded.
Yes, but I think it's founded. The insinuation that she's a pedophile.
Mm-hmm. All right,
So-
I can see on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's actually perfectly fine. Yeah, I didn't know. Honestly, I couldn't remember that. Yeah, no, that looks kind of stupid on his part. Yeah.
well, yeah. So you would agree then that hahayeah's goal was to insinuate that Piegirl is a PDF file because he literally admitted to it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think that there's nothing like wrong with that, or do you think that maybe there is an issue with that? Because if you think, oh, maybe, well, this is something that he said by accident or whatever, like we can go over some points that were made in the video.
Mm-hmm. I personally don't think Pie's a pedo, just based on what I've seen. But the things that Matt says, to me, to me privately, that he has shown me that he personally believes, and that he's shown in the video that he finds himself to make Pie, that he makes him believe that Pie's a PDF file. I think, you know, it's on a debate on, like, it's on the scale of do you think Natty or whatever their name is like, there's a lot of people who don't think that they are, but there's also a lot of people who do. I've seen what Pie was done. I was there for it. And honestly, if someone thought they were a pedophile from that, I completely think that's fine.
See, I and this is where I fundamentally disagree, because I don't think it's an okay or justifiable thing to basically try to destroy somebody's entire reputation based on flimsy or non-existent evidence, right? Like if we actually pay attention to what's being said in hahayeah's video, and I have a I made an entire fucking collection of different timestamps. I'm showing it on screen right now. And it seems to be very apparent to me that, like, this isn't just like a, oh, you know, come to your own conclusion, ooh-woo. Like, it seems like there's, like, an actual, like, character assassination going on, right? Like, for instance, at 7 minutes and 25 seconds, you know, he sarcastically says, "Don't worry, guys, Piegirl," I've replaced, like, the pronouns in the name.
Yeah.
But other than that, the quotes are completely word for word. So he sarcastically says, "Don't worry, guys, Piegirl is completely fine and should be welcomed and will never show signs of these tendencies again," implying that she should never be welcomed in the community ever again, and that what she did was unforgivable. There's also some other shit that he gets wrong, like saying that Piegirl's favorite website is Kiwi Farms, which I think is a strange thing to say.
I thought
at
the
21
debate was
minutes,
he says that it's the internet's favorite site, and Pie got
No,
that mixed up.
no, he says
Does he not say that?
No, he says in the video that that Piegirl's favorite website is Kiwi Farms at 8 minutes and 33 seconds. So at 21 minutes and 49 seconds, he says that Vex, who was 18, tried manipulating a 16-year-old into sending nudes with no evidence other than an out-of-context screenshot.
Do you not know who Vex is?
I only know what I've seen from hahayeah's video. So based on the video,
in 2020-2021 was a small commentary YouTuber who got outed as being a paedophile.
Okay.
They groomed multiple people. I can't find evidence for this, so you're gonna have to think it's alleged. But ask anyone in commentary community. Ask.
well,
anyone,
I
they
would
will
need to
tell you
see. I would
it's
need
true.
to see evidence, right? Like, I'm not just gonna, like, take a commentary YouTuber's word for it, right?
Right.
Like, I'd need to see some sort of, like, evidence. Otherwise, I'm not just gonna, like, assume that
Well,
they're
this
guilty
was
until
years
proven
ago.
innocent. Yeah, well, I would need to see some sort of, like, evidence, right? So I'm gonna
I
assume
can
that.
show you a video.
I just want, like, actual evidence. Like, I don't want to watch, like, an hour-long
there's
commentary video where and go, because I mean, at the end of the day, so it seems like so based, and again, if we're criticizing the video, right, like, it could be the case that Vex is guilty, but that the video in question still doesn't have sufficient evidence to assert that as a fact, right? So 21 minutes and 49 seconds, hahayeah says that Vex, who was 18, tried manipulating a 16-year-old into sending nudes with no evidence other than an out-of-context screenshot saying they wouldn't mind receiving nudes, and then goes on to say that Piegirl decided to, quote, completely downplay, unquote, this. So this being used as evidence against both not only Vex but also Piegirl seems like so much of a stretch that it's laughable in my opinion, right? Like if you have one screenshot of an 18-year-old saying they wouldn't mind receiving, like, what is the context behind this? Like, I mean, I would be willing to bet that they were constantly flirting beforehand, and at 18 and 16. I mean, that's a 2-year age gap. I think that's perfectly fine. That's like a sophomore in high school and a senior in high school, right? So,
right.
And then at 23 minutes and 52 seconds, hahayeah states, quote, Vex may not be a pedophile by definition. However, Vex is definitely a groomer. Piegirl is defending someone who took advantage of people who are legally unable to consent. Then at 24 minutes and 19 seconds, quote, Piegirl and her takes were defended with a bunch of people defending 1814 relationships. He then fails to show evidence of this, that Piegirl was defending 1814 relationships, and instead uses a random person in chat defending 1814 relationships as evidence against Piegirl. Are you starting to see why there's like a huge issue with this video?
I'm trying to find evidence of the Vex things. I can see why people don't like the video. I'm just coming
but like
from Matt's perspective.
Right, but you can understand how if this is the evidence being used against Piegirl, yeah, this video fucking sucks, right? Like this is nothing. This is just, oh yeah, here's a screenshot of some random person in chat defending 1814 relationships, which is actually Piegirl's exact position. And even though I'm not going to show any evidence of Piegirl saying this, I'm not going to show a screenshot of Piegirl like saying it in text. I'm not going to show a video clip of Piegirl defending 1814 relationships. I'm just going to assert that this random message in chat is Piegirl's exact position. Like, this
Right.
just seems really, like, disingenuous to me. Again, maybe Matt's, like, a really nice guy. I specifically do remember watching some of his other videos a while ago. I stumbled across his channel, and I'm like, wow. Like, for a channel with, I think he had, like, 900 subs at the time. I'm like, this guy's, like, really underrated. I think I left a nice comment, like, complimenting his video. So it's not like I'm, like, biased against him. It's just, I think this video is really shit, and I think that he's doing himself a disservice by not unlisting or privating it. Because, I mean, the first time I watched it, I was sort of, like, listening to it in the background, and, you know, I wasn't really paying attention. It seemed like an okay video. I wasn't, like, I was, like, listening to it, so I assumed that, oh, you know, like, there's, like, probably evidence being shown on screen right now. But eventually I went back to it because I found Piegirl's response video yesterday, and then I watched that. Then I rewatched hahayeah's video, and I'm like, and I'm looking at what the actual evidence is, and it's like this is insufficient.
Can I ask you, do you believe Piegirl is innocent of everything that is said in this video?
Of everything, not necessarily. I think that there are some things that she's guilty of. Like, for instance, I think that the whole thing where Lucy was sending nude images of her friends and whatnot without the consent of those friends, and Piegirl not really, like, saying to stop or anything like that. I think that was wrong. I think that it was. I think that there was the joke or whatever, like the one where it was like blackface and the swastika. I think that was in like poor taste. Like, I don't think that that was particularly funny. Like, I just kind of cringed. I think that I think it was kind of like, I think it could be the case that she was trolling or whatever by pretending to be an incel, but I can understand like why you wouldn't be able to tell that it's a joke. So like, I think that shit like that is fair enough. Because it's like, okay, I could understand why someone wouldn't be able to tell that, like, this is a joke or whatever. But I don't think that, I think that the main thing I have an issue with is the insinuation that she's a pedophile, right?
Right. So, Matt talks about a situation with Pi where she sexted with a person they originally thought was 13, and then the person admitted they were 12.
12.
Then Pi, in DMs with someone, this is shown in the video, in my recollection, that they were more turned on by the fact. Do you not think that shows anything?
I think what it shows, at least in my opinion, is that when you find out that somebody that you already have a connection to and already are attached to romantically and or sexually, when you find out that they're like a different age than what they said they were, if you're like also a child, like you're gonna be emotionally confused. You're not gonna know how to process that, right? So I think that while it was a bad thing to say, I don't think that's like I don't think it proves that like Piegirl is like a creepy or bad individual. Like I think she was just sexually confused and didn't know what to make of it.
Piegirls admitted that they genuinely found sexual attractiveness to that, and that they thought it was fucked up themselves. They weren't sexually confused. They said that they liked the fact that they were 12.
Do you think it could be the case that this is based on one single DM, right? So this single DM, what it shows is that yes, she said something that is extremely regrettable. I don't disagree with that. But do you think it could be the case that you might think something about the way you feel? You might have some sort of cognitive dissonance because you are emotionally and sexually confused as a result of finding out that this person basically lied to you, right? Do you think that it could be the case that you say something regrettable in that instance, and that maybe you say something that you don't mean? You're trying to process something, you say something stupid in the process of processing that information, but that it turns out that you're actually not more attracted, like in general. Do you think that could be the case, or is that
could well be the case? That could well be the case, but as they've said, that wasn't how they've presented it.
Wait, how they presented it in what? One singular DM?
Not one singular DM. They had streams after it where they still admitted that they said that they needed to leave because of that. That they did actually. They had a podcast called Drama Time. It's the one John Swan went on. They also did a Twitter space that Matt puts on the video where they say that they're not going to leave. So
from all of the clips that I've seen from Drama Time or whatever, it seems to be the case that Piegirl is actually saying that she wasn't actually more attracted by the fact that this person was 12, but that she had temporarily thought that was the case.
I still think it's weird to say that.
So
I
do you
don't
think
know
it could be?
anyone would think that.
So do you think that somebody can say a weird thing without being like a creepy, terrible, predatory person?
Depends on what they say.
So like, for instance, let's say that a 15-year-old child who was e-dating a 13-year-old child finds out that the 13-year-old child is actually a 12-year-old child, and as a result of not understanding how to process that information, says something stupid like, "Oh, actually, I'm more turned on by that, I think maybe potentially," and then it turns out that actually, no, I'm not, and actually I'm going to cut this person off because you fucking lied to me. Do you think that represents somebody being predatory or pedophilic, or do you think that just represents somebody being confused and emotionally hurt?
I think in the context of that, yeah. Like I said, I don't share any real hate towards Pi. I've always sat in the sidelines and looked at them. I thought of them as a weirdo. I've never thought of them as a pedo or anything.
Okay,
I don't agree with
so-
Matt's video entirely. I just don't think that it should be deleted.
Well, I think unlisted would be better, right? Because
Right.
because the issue I have is that people are gonna watch that. They're not gonna think about it critically, because a lot of people, sometimes myself included, will listen to videos in the background, maybe sort of pay attention, but not really, and it's just sort of like absorb the information that's being put in the video. And the conclusion I got from the video on the first watch is, yeah, this person's probably a pedo, right? Like, I wasn't really paying very good attention, right? So, like, unless you're, like, watching it through, like, an analytical lens, like what I did on stream, like, it's very easy to sort of just, like, passively watch something or listen to something in the background and come to the conclusion that, yeah, this person is, like, a pedo. They don't deserve, like, any second chances, right?
I mean, obviously, if you're watching something passively, you're not going to deduct thing. Well,
So do you
deduct your
so-
own opinions from it. But that's not the fault of Matt, because you're
Yes,
watching
it
something
is.
without paying actual attention to it.
Okay, but that's what people do, right? Like, descriptively, you can agree that this is what many people do, right? Like,
Right.
sometimes, again, myself included sometimes, right? Like, sometimes I just like to listen to something in the background while I'm doing something else, right? And, I saw Matt as, like, this underrated video essayist who's just like, okay, he probably gets most stuff right. Like, I'll just, like, listen to this in the background while I do something else, while I, clean the dishes, do my laundry, whatever. I don't specifically remember what I was doing. I think I was editing visuals for a video, actually. But yeah, it's like I was listening to it in the background. And, when you passively listen to something, like, I would not have found that video if he had unlisted it, right?
Right.
Or, I just wish that he could just unlist it, put it in a playlist, and then, like, maybe change the title, or to let viewers know that, like, hey, I disavow this. I don't think that, or add at least a disclaimer somewhere that Piegirl is not, like, a PDF file, and that, like, that shouldn't be the conclusion you come to. Like, I feel like
That would only happen if he did actually change his stance. He's very stubborn in his stances. I don't think that's going to change. I also just want to say something from the chat, to say that someone said, like, to air that to the public is deeply immoral. And I just want to say to that, Piegirl themselves were actually talking to people about it and went on their own podcast to talk about it. I don't think that's airing it out. They talked
hold
about
on,
it themselves.
wait, it was leaked though, but it wasn't that she leaked it herself. The other person
Right.
leaked it, and people were talking about it, so she wanted to defend herself. So that's not really her fault.
It wasn't really a
Right.
defense when they admitted to everything they did and thought they were fucked up for it.
Hold on, do you believe it could be the case that somebody does something that they regret, that they think is fucked up, like, as in, like, oh, I said something fucked up and now I understand why it was fucked up, and I wouldn't
Yeah.
say that again, and I don't even really feel that way? Do you think that could be the case, and that's not like a predatory thing? That's just, oh yeah, I shouldn't have said this. Like, I'm not gonna pretend like this
Yeah,
has
absolutely.
been faked. Like, I'm just gonna explain my situation, my side of the story. Like, I feel like that's more along the lines of what actually happened there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it just seems like
I
it
was
just seems like
gonna
a child being irresponsible, right? Like, she was 15. Like, she was a child. Like, she's also just as impressionable and vulnerable. Like you have to keep in mind that you have people on the internet that are going after this person for saying something cringe and being a cringe e-dater as a child. Like, having that level of scrutiny on you when you're 15 is fucking horrible. Like, I feel like, I mean, hell, I've been in drama. I'm not sure how much of that kind of shit you're aware of, but the whole blowing stuff out of proportion thing, you know, like it feels horrible. Like, you feel like absolute shit. You know, you consider leaving the internet for good. You just feel like complete shit. You feel like there's no recovering from it. And when you're 15, I mean, hell, like I was 19 when I got into my big controversy or whatever. And, you know, that shit fucking sucks. So when people perpetuate that with like a mentally ill 15-year-old, like I just think that's like that. What is being gained from that? Like, you're just hurting a 15-year-old edgelord. Like,
I believe that the video, in my opinion, shouldn't really have any opinion piece in it. I believe if you were to make a video on Pi, that it should just be a standard, you know, type of documentary video. Because, you know, then you're not giving people alternative opinions, obviously. I don't agree with a lot of the hate against Pi. I think they get it undeserved sometimes, like the pedophile stuff.
so where do you think the pedophile stuff comes from? Do you think it could
Not from
potentially?
hahayeah.
So you don't think that a
You were
video?
fucked being a
Hold
pedophile
on.
for a very long
Do you think
time.
that releasing a video about somebody that where the intention is clearly to insinuate that the person being talked about is a pedophile, do you think a video insinuating that someone is a pedophile will increase, decrease, or have no impact on the amount of people that think that person is a pedophile?
I didn't really think that had really any impact because
You
the
think
video
you think it had
itself.
no impact?
Well,
You
it
don't
was
think that-
directed to the commentary. It did have impact, yeah, because people watched it and liked it.
So it had an
People who
impact.
watched it and thought Pi was a pedophile already thought Pi was a pedophile. I know
So
about
you
the doxing
you don't
situation.
think that there could be?
I don't think they got doxed because they're a pedophile.
So hold on. Do you think? Hold on. Do you think that there weren't any people that watched that video going in with a neutral opinion or knowing nothing about Pie Girl that came out of the video thinking that Pie Girl is a pedophile? Do you think that didn't happen at all?
No, I'm not saying that didn't happen, but I don't think it happened like as much as the amount of people who watched it. I think it was like a small amount.
Okay, so you think it's a small amount, or do you
Yeah.
think that because to me, it seems like if the clear intention is to insinuate that somebody's a pedophile, the message you're trying to invoke is that this person is a pedophile, right? Like, that's the clear and unambiguous intention that hahayeah admitted to. If
Yeah.
the goal is to insinuate that somebody is a pedophile, you are trying to convince people that that's what they are. That is the message you are trying to send. So if people receive that message, do you think that they're going to be more likely, less likely, or about the same amount of likely to believe that Pie Girl is a pedophile after being told a message that basically says that Pie Girl is a pedophile?
You know what? I will actually change my stance on that. That was retarded of me to say. Yeah, sorry, I shouldn't say the word. Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
More people, definitely. That was
Okay.
stupid on my end. I apologize for that one.
So you would agree
personally,
then?
though,
So hold on.
I
you would
never
agree-
came out of it with the intention
Okay,
they were.
well, that's you personally, but you agree then that people who watch that video are significantly more likely to believe that Pie Girl is a pedophile, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you understand why that would be harmful to Pie Girl?
Oh yeah, but Pi it has a history of doing things that intentionally make them look way
Okay.
worse. Like
Hold on,
they
you
publicly did
you agree-
blackface.
You agree that Pie Girl is not a pedophile, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that it is harmful to convince people that somebody who isn't a pedophile is a pedophile?
Someone who's provably not a pedophile, yeah.
Hold on, not provably not a pedophile, just not a pedophile. So
At
like
all?
as in, yeah, as far as we know, Piegirl is not a pedophile. Now anybody could potentially be a pedophile. You don't know 100% for certain. For all I know, you could be a pedophile, right? But I assume that you're not because I don't have any evidence that you are, right? So you would agree that if I were to go on making a video about you that gets almost 10,000 views where I heavily insinuate that you're a pedophile, and the majority of people that watch that video come to the conclusion that you're a pedophile, and let's be real, inevitably some of them are going to target you because of that, right? Do you think that that would be a good thing, a bad thing, or a neutral thing?
That would be a bad thing, obviously.
That would be a bad thing,
like
right?
the thing is, Pi. I think if people came to the assumption that Pi is a pedophile, of which obviously I don't agree with, I've said constantly, but they've, like we said, the 12-year-old thing. I think a lot of people, would think that shows clear indication of being weird, and then also about the fact that they saved CP of their friends, and then also.
Wait, did they save it or did they just receive it and it was in the DMs?
They received it and they thought it was fine.
Yeah, so they didn't save it, they received it. Right?
Right.
And they were a child, right? A child generally is going to be less likely to know right from wrong.
Pi made videos on pedophiles, saying how
okay.
what they did wasn't okay. They made a massive video on people like Alpha Lee and Lion Maker.
When you have an emotional attachment to somebody or you're friends with somebody or whatever, you're not going to hold them to the same standard a lot of the time, right?
Oh, of course
so
not,
for
yeah.
instance, I've always been of the opinion that abusing your partners is wrong and that's a bad thing, right? But I've also been in an abusive relationship where my partner was emotionally abusive to me, right? That's not because I thought that abuse was okay. It's just that when you have a positive opinion of somebody and some sort of emotional attachment to them, whether it be through a friendship, a relationship, you name it, you're not going to hold them to the same standard. You're going to think that their behavior is okay when it's not okay, right? Like, that's just human nature, right?
Right.
Yeah. So it seems like it seems like there's just so many issues I have with this video where it's very clear that this is like you would agree that the video is harmful to Piegirl, right? Like it. Okay, so you agree that it's harmful then?
Yeah, but I still don't think it should be deleted because it shows.
You don't think that a video
things that people should know about Pi.
So hold on, you don't think that a video that clearly and unambiguously causes harm that you agree is harmful should be taken down?
Unambiguously. No, I think it shows if people came from the deducted that it came, that even if it was insinuated that Pi is a pedophile,
hold on,
obviously
the viewers didn't induct that. It was hahayeah insinuated it, and people believed in hahayeah's insinuation. That's not them personally inducting it from looking at the raw evidence. That's them watching a highly narrativized video that is narrativized against Piegirl, right? Like, the goal wasn't just to show the raw evidence. The goal was to insinuate that Piegirl is a pedophile, which you agreed to, right? So
yeah.
So if it was just showing the raw evidence, like, yep, here's a link to the. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm gonna be reading this document out loud, and then I'm gonna read these DMs out loud. Okay, anyways, come to your own conclusion. I have no opinion. Have a nice day, everyone. Smash like and subscribe. That'd be a very different video from what he actually made, right?
Well, yeah, I've said that. I agreed with that.
Okay, so the problem wouldn't be that he's showing the evidence. The problem would be that he's insinuating that she's a pedophile. So that would be why he should take the video down, right? Is that he insinuated that somebody who isn't a pedophile is a pedophile, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I
So
just personally don't believe that the video should be taken down, because many people have said that it's given a good example of the shit that Pie's done and even admitted to without the insinuation.
but you agree that the video is harmful.
Yeah, when it talks about them being when it insinuates there was a pedophile, there is a portion where they don't insinuate they're a pedophile.
So I'm not talking. So do you think that the portion that doesn't insinuate that she's a pedophile makes up for the portion that does, or what?
Yeah.
So
because I believe that it shows like actual evidence of shitty things. I think it's kind of stupid that Matt did use the insinuation. I don't think he should have personally, and we'll agree with that.
Do you think it could be entirely possible for Matt to unlist, private, or delete the video and then post the evidence, like just the raw evidence somewhere, whether it be on his channel, on Twitter, or wherever, where it's easily archivable, and without insinuating that she's a pedophile? Do you think that could be possible, that he could do that
yeah, but I don't think he would.
Okay, but do you think he should?
The pedophile part, yeah, it should be trimmed out.
Okay.
Of the video.
So right. Well, the whole video, like it's the issue is, and I agree, like if it was just like one section of the video, it's like, okay, let's say from the 30-minute to the 45-minute mark is that portion of the video insinuates pedophilia, but the rest of it is completely fine. I would agree. Okay, yeah, just go into the YouTube editor and trim that part out. But it's sprinkled throughout the entire video. Like, it's so obvious, right? Like, implying, like, at 27 minutes and 41 seconds, implying that Piegirl didn't actually intend on exposing Lucy. If we go back to, let's say, getting other shit wrong as well. 8 minutes and 33 seconds saying that Piegirl's favorite website is Kiwi Farms. At 1 minute and 21 seconds saying that she engaged in Lucy's depravity and enjoyed these conversations more than she'd like to admit. It's all throughout the video. At 34 minutes and 19 seconds, accuses Piegirl of trying to implicate a list of people for having CP. Only evidence is a list of names Piegirl wrote, which she doesn't say anything about them having CP. Like, it's just a whole lot of shit where it's just, there's just not sufficient evidence to come to these conclusions. There was an entire section where he invokes guilt by association, starting at around the 36-minute mark, acting as if Mr. Girl defending Piegirl somehow makes Piegirl more in the wrong. Like, I feel like, I mean, you agree that this video just as a whole is harmful, right? Like, because like throughout the entire video, there's this clear insinuation. At 27 minutes and 27 seconds, blames Piegirl for deleting screenshots because she was literally being blackmailed into doing so by a pedophile. Like, all of it is bad. Like, all of this is bad. It's all throughout the video. It's not just like one portion, right?
Right. Personally, not only is it late for me, I apologize for that if I'm speaking quietly. This is gonna, I think a lot of this is gonna be agree to disagree, and obviously I haven't come with like screenshots or anything that I probably should have prepared for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. The insinuation is fucking stupid, and he should never have done that. The only reason I don't want it being taken down is obviously bias.
Yeah, well, okay, I appreciate the honesty, and what I want to say is that it's okay to concede and just be like, yeah, I think it'd be better if he took the video down. I'm still going to be friends with him because he's a nice person, he's fun to talk to, he cares about me, whatever. you know, he's just an all-around good guy that did this one bad thing. And I think that that's a perfectly fair thing, right? Like, you can still be friends with somebody and completely disagree with them on something, right? Like, I have plenty of friends that I disagree with, like, all the time.
Someone said I'm going to run. No, I'm not. It's really late for me, and I have like work in the morning. I'm not trying to run. I promise.
Yeah, no,
I'm not.
that's okay. That's okay.
You guys
And I highly recommend, like, you know, just like, you know, when you're more awake, just, you know, maybe watch the VOD. There'll be timestamps by then, and just like listen to the points that I have to make, and it's okay if like you concede your position, like, if not, fine, I guess. But I think it's a useful skill to be able to look at something your friend did and say, yeah, that was really shitty. I'm still friends with them because I care about them as a person, and I don't think that they have bad intentions or whatever, but this is clearly harmful, and I'd rather they take the video down, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, if that's what's going to come of this, obviously I'll concede to that. I'll say that, you know, I'm still going to be friends with Matt.
Yeah, of
I
course.
believe he's one of the best commentators, you know, I've ever met. I think, you know, apart from you believe, the Pi one, he's pretty talented.
I think he's very talented. I fully and wholeheartedly agree. His editing is fucking insane, okay? I agree with you, okay? It's the kind of editing that I aspire to do, okay? I also edit my own videos, and it's like, damn, like, oh my god, the amount of effort that goes into these visuals and making it like super aesthetic. It's like, oh my god. It's like you appreciate it if you understand the amount of work that goes into it. But again, this isn't me trying to say that Matt is this fully terrible / evil person. Like, I don't think that what he's done is unforgivable or anything. I just think he should take the video down. I don't think that you need to stop being friends with him. Like, I don't know how much of my content you've watched, but I'm like fully against guilt by association. Like, you're not personally responsible for your friends, so you could keep being friends with him, but then while agreeing that like what he did was wrong. Like, I think that that's like a fair thing to conclude, I guess.
All right, yeah, I think that's a good. I'll concede. Yeah, I'm.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on. I really
Femyoz
appreciate
win.
it.
No problem.
Let's go.
All right.
And you know what? I have a lot of respect for someone who can like admit like when somebody else like makes a good point or whatever, or like, you know, is willing to be intellectually honest, have a good faith discussion like this.
Yeah, I won't lie to you. Yeah, you did pull out pretty good points.
Thank you.
I think my personal not even beef, like problems with Pi's video on Matt is she does a lot of the same things. Like, I think I DM'd you saying that they just spread a false allegation that in reality was just a joke between his IRLs that someone sent to a commentary channel to try and get at Matt because they didn't want to be his friend anymore. I think the fact that Pi also put that in their video to get at Matthew shows hypocrisy, in my opinion.
So you DM'd me. So yeah, you DM'd me saying that Piegirl is a hypocrite because she falsely accused hahayeah of having gay furry porn. Right?
Yeah, I know it's a silly thing.
Yeah, so my response to that is simply Piegirl being a hypocrite does not increase the validity of hahayeah's false accusations, pretty much. I'd also say that like accusing somebody of something that's like inconsequential and funny, like having gay furry porn, like nobody cares if he has gay furry porn, right? I think I think that the main symmetry breaker there as well, like would also be the fact that like it's not on the same level as like insinuating that someone's a like an actual pedophile, right? Like it's more of like a silly little jab. And I think if you're just gonna make like a silly little jab at somebody, you might have like a lower standard of evidence, and I don't think that there's anything inherently wrong with that.
Mm-hmm. I'm just coming from the opinion that if you're well, it wasn't her entire video, but you know, if one of your points is, you know, the insinuation and the you know, what she believes false accusations and what I believe false accusations, that they're a pedo, that you shouldn't also spread another false accusation, no matter of the severity of each. It just shows hypocrisy, in my opinion. But
I mean, I don't know, because the reason I have an issue with false accusations isn't just because they're false, it's because they cause harm, right? So I mean, I don't think that there's much harm in falsely accusing someone of having gay furry porn. Do I think you should do it? No. But like, that doesn't cause harm the same way that insinuating someone is a PDF file would do, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's fair. And like I just want to say, I appreciate, we're not having some like massive like bunk debate where people are screaming at each other. It's been like chill, monotone shit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is like, I barely do debates on things, so it's not my like thing. I just like making videos.
Yeah, and
with people.
that's perfectly understandable. Wait, you said you make videos on people?
Yeah, I just make videos. That's all I do.
All right, before you leave call, do you want to shout yourself out?
Oh no, I don't want to do that. No.
You don't want to do it? All right.
I'm vain, but I'm not doing it in a
all right.
in a debate.
Well, I'm gonna shout you out anyways and say everyone subscribe to the Spinnling YouTube channel. I have it on screen right now. It's spelled Spinnling. And yeah, the reason that I'm I guess promoting your channel is because you were good faith the entire discussion, and I appreciate that. So
all right, thank you. I
cool
appreciate
person.
Yeah, no problem. Actually, I think what anyone will know me for is for the Plague Moth stuff. I think Tom covered it, but yeah, that's the only self-promotion I'll give myself.
All right, fair enough.
I'll see you next time, Femyoz.
All right, have a nice day, and thank you for coming on.
No problem.
All right. That was a really good discussion. That went really well. That went better than I thought it would. I wasn't sure if like there was gonna be like a lot of like emotions in this or whatever, or like if it would get like heated. So I'm glad that it didn't. Because debates being like over the top in terms of how heated they are is like one of the reasons I don't debate as much anymore. If anything, I think that me debating less made me better in that debate, because I wasn't like super aggro, I guess. Like when I debate frequently, I get more aggro. Sorry, I distracted the caller, no worries. I should have advised him to not read chat during debates. That's like the #1 mistake that people will make. What's up, short girl? I'm not short, shut up. 5'6" isn't that short. The gaming giant. Okay. Let's read these. I don't know what that's in reference to. I'ma go nut BRB. Wait, fill me in. Just want to see some wait, what? Hello, Batao Crafter. Using a random saying something to go after another person is very bad faith. Yeah, absolutely. The issue there was just irrelevancy. Not sure of the implication. Femyoz, I defended graffiti. Since you said nothing in the second half, that means you do too. What? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that means. That's just a 3-year age gap and can really be a 2 or year and a half difference. I guess. I think I know what you're saying. There were 15 that shouldn't be aired in public space, plus it doesn't indicate anything profound about who you'll be as an adult. Yeah. You can't be a PDF file if you are under 16. I disagree with that, right? So like if a 15-year-old is sexually attracted to 5-year-olds, then I would argue that they're a PDF file. At least colloquially, right? Like even if they don't like fit like some sort of like a technical definition, right? Like I I would label a 15-year-old that's attracted to 5-year-olds as a PDF file, right? However, that line of logic wouldn't apply if it's like a 15 and a 13-year-old or a 15 and a 12-year-old, right? Because at that point, the age gap isn't large enough for that to be the case. They were both kids. By the way, she lied to them. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I think that that's like an important aspect as well, right? It's a similar defense to the one that I'll make of Zaptai, where it's like, yeah, if somebody lies about their age, like, whether or not they're a PDF file is not contingent upon the actual age of the person, right? Like, it's going to be contingent upon the perceived age, right? So if you perceive somebody to be 2 years younger than you, but they're 4 years younger than you, right? You would go with 2 years, right? Otherwise, you're just being bad faith and uncharitable. It's weird for a kid to say something weird that doesn't harm anyone. Come on. Lord, not really. Plus, it's irrelevant. It should be deleted FFS. Yeah, well, I guess my first goal was to get him to admit okay, at least unlist it and then add like a disclaimer or something, right? I've done things I regret as an adult. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I feel like doing something regrettable as a child makes sense. Child does something irresponsible. What weight is this supposed to have on the situation? Little to none, in my opinion. Lord, you might want to get caught up on the... Wait, what? Okay. So if you admit they aren't a PDF file, then you have no reason to think that hahayeah is telling the truth. Yeah, I agreed. That's true, Femi. Hell yeah. I've been in abusive relationships like that too. Video falls apart under scrutiny. Has false allegations with no evidence. If you agree Piegirl isn't a pedo, but think a video in which they are painted as one should stay up, you are wrong. Yeah, there's like an inherent contradiction there, right? But ultimately he conceded. Pi didn't do anything by your admission. Okay, so the video is predicated on saying Pi is a PDF file. But it's the entire video. All caught up now. Hello, Lord Pasta. I'm so glad you're caught up. Caller seems chill, TBH. Yeah, absolutely. I have a lot of respect for Spinnling now because of how he conducted himself in the call. He did a good job at being good faith and not like spurging out or anything. Seems like you aced this one. Yeah, I think I did well. I was definitely prepared. I wasn't sure how it would go. When it comes to commentary stuff, it's like very unpredictable. So, like for all I knew, because I don't really know Spinnling very well, so for all I knew, he could have like started spurging out. I mean, it's commentary, so I'm glad he didn't. So overall, I have like a very positive opinion of him now. But again, I didn't know that, so I created like an entire .txt file with like a bunch of timestamps listed and whatnot, because, you know, if I'm going to debate somebody, I think I should have receipts. I should prepare ahead of time. Like, that's the thing, is like, I'm pretty decent at I'm like Vosh, where I can debate someone with like little to no preparation ahead of time and do fairly well, right? But that doesn't mean I should rely on rhetoric exclusively, right? Otherwise, you just end up with like really annoying debate bro brain rot, I guess is what I call it. Not to say I'm against debate bros in terms of like I think that the toxicity of it all can be quite funny and entertaining. It's just not for me all the time. I think it's very clear the implication of the video and the caller practically conceded. Femyoz bringing top energy, WTF, hell yeah. I think the fact they were a child is a huge factor. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate the civil discussion. Hell yeah, Spinnling. You said you're short last night, debate me. Second half, I said I was commenting. Get what you're saying. I do think it's unhealthy for a 15-year-old to be into a 12-year-old. I actually had to deal with a similar situation. Kid came to me and admitted being into 12-year-olds as a 15-year-old. I mean, it's not a matter of what, like, yeah, I mean, I guess the debate wouldn't be whether or not it's healthy, though. Also, hello, Azalea. Sobbing violently. I'm sorry, I'm like way behind in chat because I had a debate, and you never read chat in debates. It's a bad idea. There was a famous case about 10 years ago. A girl lied to a guy about her age and had sex with them. He got caught, and to her credit, she and her family fought for him to not be prosecuted. Based? She was on a dating site while under 18, so that helped his case too, yeah. They're catching up on comments, yeah. I am like Vosh, Femyoz 2024, real. Vosh is mostly based as fuck, true. Is Oz, hell yeah. Vosh is okay. I think Vosh is based, and now I'm all caught up. Hell yeah. So, yeah, I guess, I do hope that at some point, what's his face, hahayeah, debates me, because I think that would be an interesting discussion. It's me, bestie, it's me, you, but hell yeah. I know who you are. I already know who you are. Curses? Yeah, anyways. Also, someone sent me a friend request on Discord. I guess I'll accept it. I don't know who they are. We have no servers in common and one mutual friend. Interesting. Huh. Oh, I think I know who they are. Anyways. I love you, aw. I love you too, platonically, of course. How to do a stream in an hour? Now you can rest? I mean, I'm not gonna rest yet. I'm still streaming. There's some stuff we can go over. You know, I mean, sure, it was satisfying to have like a really good faith discussion. Smash like, by the way, if you're watching this, okay? The stream has 2 likes, 7 concurrent viewers. We have less likes than average. What the hell is going on? I think we can increase that. I think we should at least have 7 likes. A lot of Dramayoz episodes. Gotta stick around. Hell yeah. We even got a debate in. Femboy Debate Bro is back. Except I'm more of a trans girl. Needs to be a podcast. It is a podcast, actually. That's why I keep all the VODs up as like public past live streams. Is because it is a podcast. If I have juicy femboy lore with proof, would you do a video about it? I guess it depends on what the lore is. But yeah. Dramayoz is like a, I don't know, it's just like a series I started doing. I guess it's my more commentary adjacent style content, I guess you could say. Like if you go to the, but yeah, if you go to the like the podcasts section of my channel, you can see that Dramayoz is the first one. You can see I've got in the icon, I've got red eyes because it's like, ooh, I'm this evil drama person. And then we've got all of the first one was about Quibblecop AI and Nick Diorio versus Michael Alberto. Oh yeah. Second episode, Michael Alberto's failed hit piece on Nick Diorio. Lil Tay, Yandere Dev, Sniper Wolf, Sniper Wolf again. What happened to Darman? Oh, Nision is actually innocent. Spoiler alert. He was not innocent. Dream allegations are false. Dream allegations are insane. These need to be switched. Oops. Actually, no, because this stream was right after. My Wi-Fi took a shit, so the stream stopped. It's actually better if it's in this order. Zan burns the bridge with Keffels. Dream finally responded. Twitch did nothing wrong. This was kind of clickbait, but whatever. Truth about Xanderhall and Keffels. The false accusers of Piegirl. The false accusers of Piegirl should be held accountable. And that's this stream. Let me smash like myself. Because it's good to do that. Piegirl should be held accountable. Yep, anyways. People lie about their ages all the time. It's pretty scary, yeah. It's like you gotta be careful with a lot of that shit. There's a femboy who until recently was underage. They didn't say their age, so nobody knew they were a kid while getting money for wearing skimpy clothes and being sus. There's some manipulation, gaslighting too, amongst other stuff. Interesting. Yeah, I did not know that. But yeah, damn. But yeah, I mean, almost? Does that say almost? Across Spotify and stuff in the future? I guess I could do that. I could, like, put this on Spotify. Maybe at some point. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it wouldn't really grow my platform much. But yeah, I could maybe upload it to Spotify or something. I don't know. I'd be really bad at, like, remembering to do that, though. I meant to say almost, but bad at typing with a phone. That's fair. I get people to tell me their age before I do anything sus with them. Yeah, same. I have proof of age. They admitted to me they're underage and stuff. Interesting. I might cover it then. They have a sizable amount of followers too. It's not Finn, so don't worry. Well, I would hope it's not Finn. What would that would be really bad for Icky as well. If it was. Could you imagine? Did they lie about their age or did they not mention it? I would assume that they lied about it. Either way, it's bad. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I guess one would be worse. So, man. I guess we could, so what I'm gonna do, because when, Google Chrome does this thing where full screen on videos just doesn't work properly for no apparent reason. I don't know why it does this. So we're gonna also close Discord. I don't need that open right now. Discord. Quit Discord. Alright, chat, you're gonna disappear for a sec. It wasn't mentioned. Lie of mission. Still got hundreds of thousands of dollars from adults. Interesting. Sounds like something I might have done as a kid. Just because, you know, why not? Alright. Restream. Get chat up first again. And then we can go from there. Here we go. Chat. And let me move that. Okay. You're back, chat. I've shown some people the evidence, and without fail, they are all like, what the fuck? Well, yeah, I would hope so. Because if they didn't have an issue with that, it's like, okay. Well, there might be an issue with them. I don't know. Yeah, so I need to go to the bathroom at some point in the near future. But before I do that, I guess what I'm going to do is... Hold on. Let's just make sure that this works properly, and it does. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, the video that we're going to be watching is called Pieman Exposed, the final straw, apparently. It's from Definitely Bored Oranges. So let's see what this is all about. It's a little over 10.5 minutes long.
Read, nigga, read!
Oh, wow. Incredible intro. Oh, there's also a disclaimer. Disclaimer, these videos are not made to change anyone's mind on whatever topic I'm talking about. And the jokes I make should not be taken seriously at all. Only take my points seriously, please. Okay, hold on. What's the point of making points if you're not trying to change anyone's mind on what you're talking about? Do you just make points with the intent of having everybody have exactly the same point of view before watching the video? If you can't... Oh, if you frequently get mad at others' opinions or can't take jokes, this video is not for you. Let's try to keep things civil in the comments. So right off the bat, just, you know, absolving himself of all accountability for the things he says. Guys, you know, I make some points, but I'm not trying to change anyone's mind, so if you disagree with them, it's because I'm not actually trying to change your mind. And also, don't take jokes seriously, and don't get mad at my opinions or the jokes. If you do, the video's not for you. Okay. It's okay as a black person. I give you the pass to say it. I love Uncle Ruckus. Hell yeah. I get the pass. I don't know if Oranges over here gets the pass though.
Yeah, sounds about right. Oh, by the way, this isn't tea, this is alcohol. So in more recent years, more and more commentary channels have been getting exposed, and not just for being shit at their job, or overall just having bad content, or just straight up being bad for the community. I'm talking about the big shit.
Oh wow, the big shit. You know, I think that the fart noises really add to the comedic value of this, you know. I wouldn't be rolling on the floor laughing like I am currently if it wasn't for that.
Stuff that makes us look really bad. You know, the stuff that 2 years from now we'll all say the community has gotten better at handling, only for someone to fuck it up and reset the whole cycle again. Oh, who am I talking about? Well, I'm not going to name any names. Something that seems to be
You're not going to name any names, even though it's in the title.
Happening a lot recently is commentary channels, you know, the people who expose people for doing bad things, and most of those bad things have to do with abusing kids. Yeah, spoilers for later. Whether it be Shannon failing to practice what she
Hold on, let's replay that, just so we're clear.
A lot recently is commentary channels, you know, the people who expose people for doing bad things, and most of those bad things have to do with abusing kids. Yes.
Have to do with abusing kids. Interesting. I hope that's not what Piegirl's being accused of.
Spoilers for later. Whether it be
spoilers for later. Okay.
Failing to practice what she peaches. Multiple people don't know.
Guys, it's okay that the joke was extremely unfunny because there was actually a self-aware clip that was inserted of somebody sarcastically laughing. So guys, it's not as unfunny if it's self-aware, guys.
On what federal fucking law is, and things that don't belong on the internet. A small portion of the commentary community has failed to do the bare minimum of not being a complete and utter shitter. And now, there's another 2 people to add to the pile of shit people who deserve to be in jail. Ladies and
deserve to be in jail, just so we're clear.
Gentlemen, Pieman and her friend. That's right, it's a double self-report.
Stop posting about Among Us!
You gotta love the image of EDP. A great comparison, truly. Yeah.
Pieman makes documentary commentary videos that I will begrudgingly admit were quite good. And seeing the stats of her most recent stuff, a lot of people seem to agree. So then why did she have to fuck it all up? Because nothing nice can ever just happen. Pieman admitted to having a few fetishes that is super fucking gross.
Did she? And if so, do I care?
Wait, one more thing. By the way, the last time like the thing with my friend's nudes happened was like a while ago, like a couple weeks ago. So it's not, you know.
That was a couple weeks
like,
ago?
Yeah, like the last time it happened.
The last time it happened was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, why didn't you just expose him then?
Hoopty Scoopty in chat says John Swan was innocent. Snake Diorio betrayed him.
Because that was just him like sending no, that was him like sending nudes of my friends to me, and you know.
Is that not what exposed
at that point? Well, I mean, first of all, it would have exposed me too, and I you know, at that point of time, I didn't want that to stop.
You didn't want
even
that
though
to stop?
At the time, like even though I had I felt terrible over it. I mean, there's a reason it happened like 3 times. It didn't just happen once.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so long story short, she just didn't tell the Lucy person to stop.
So at that time, you still part of you still wanted it to continue.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
keep in mind that she didn't ask for it to continue. She wasn't asking for the nudes. She was just sent them.
Yeah, I honestly, dude, like as I said, I don't think you're being malicious. But yeah,
Aiden.
I'd really just consider like what happened and maybe take a break.
So
I think that's a perfectly reasonable assessment from Aiden, because this is one of the things that Piegirl actually did do wrong, was not saying no to receiving nudes of people that didn't consent to having those nudes being shared, right? But again, Pieman was a child. She didn't ask for them to be sent. And you have to keep in mind that Piegirl, like not long after the whole controversy, in fact, at the start of the controversy, realized that it was wrong and felt really bad about it. So, yeah.
I'll talk about the first thing I saw when I started doing the research. I just got out of a call with Pieman to give them an opportunity to clarify what happened.
Also, I need to go to the bathroom, so what I'm gonna do is I am going to pull a Hassan Piker on all of you watching this, specifically on definitely bored oranges. So, yeah. Without further ado, time for me to do a Hassan moment. Chair stream, hell yeah, brother.
I asked what
happened and maybe take a break.
So I'll talk about the first thing I saw when I started doing the research. I just got out of a call with Pieman to give them an opportunity to clarify what happened. I asked why they didn't post a tweet longer about this Lucy person when the final nude image of their friend was sent weeks ago by their own admission. And they explained it's because a part of them wanted it to continue. Pieman admitted to accepting multiple nude images of their friends from Lucy without the consent of those friends, and this continued until approximately a few weeks ago. Pieman admitted to knowing this was wrong at the time and continued anyways. This behavior is unforgivable. Full stop. Yeah, you see, I added that little bit of, hey, look at me.
To the flames with you!
I'm aware Pieman is 16, but she admitted to taking lewd images from this Lucy person. Why would you... look. I can't call Pieman a pedophile because that would be both wrong and foolish. However, I have multiple other things I can call Pieman. You motherfucking...
No, God! God!
Fine, let's hit Pieman out. You know, in this doc, there might be a justifiable reason why Pieman did this, so I won't have to kill anybody.
This is my final response to all the drama that has happened over the last 24 hours. I did something bad.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
But a lot of the other stuff I'm being unfairly slandered over in the commentary community is not living up to what it should be.
Are you fucking... Yeah, I don't think this community is treating me nicely and living up to what it should be. I had literal cheese pizza in my possession. Like, you're not serious, mate. How do you not see the obvious contradiction behind, yeah, I had photos of children's nudes, and, oh, well, the community isn't tweeting me well. Oh.
Okay, so quite a few things that I think need to be addressed. Okay, so first of all, if the person that quote unquote has CP is the same age as or younger than the people that are in that, right? So because you have to keep in mind that she was 16 at the time, and the so-called CP that was being sent her way was of 16 and 17-year-olds. So there's that aspect to it. Not to mention the fact that I appreciate the fact that definitely Border Oranges isn't labeling her as a PDF file. I guess that's good news. However, I think it's important to note that there is a little bit of an insinuation being made here. As for why it was included in the doc, it was because it provides important context for the fact that Piegirl was basically being blackmailed with that information by Lucy. So that's why she included it, right? Like, the point of the doc wasn't to make herself look good. It was to expose a disgusting predator, and I think it did what it set out to do. So, yeah. I think that pretty much sums up my thoughts on what was just played.
Just fuck off. You can tell how terrible this doc is gonna be just from this alone.
After I post this, I'm gonna leave the internet for a while.
No, not a while. Forever. If you're willing to do shit like this, then I don't think you should ever come back.
I don't think that what was done was unforgivable, though. I guess that's the other thing I wanted to address. Is, no, it's not unforgivable. Like, is it shitty? Yeah. Like, is it wrong? Yeah. That doesn't mean it's unforgivable. Like, I think there's, like, a fine line between doing something shitty and doing something unforgivable. And you have to keep in mind that like, she wasn't even asking for those images to be sent. They were just sent, and she was fine with it at the time. So that's what she did wrong, was not saying to stop sending those images without the consent of the people that those images were of. So, yeah.
Hell out! Get out! Get out!
However, I can't allow unfounded rumors such as me being a pedophile or me willingly looking for CP to spread by such large and respected figures.
Okay. Let's ignore what other people say and hear what Pieman has to say.
The friend's nudes. The only terrible thing I did was saying yes to Lucy asking me if I wanted to see my friend's nudes, which is still completely terrible.
So, you didn't go out of your way to find
chili dogs,
but you said yes to someone.
Hold on. These images were of people that were the same age as her, right? Like, what are you trying to insinuate here? Like, it doesn't have the same implication if the people that the images are of are the same age as the person that's receiving them. Like, if Piegirl was like a whatever, let's say she was like 30 or something. It's like, okay, yeah, the like unambiguous PDF file there, right? But like, you have to keep in mind that if the person is around the same age as the people that the images are of, it doesn't make you a PDF file. Like, if you're attracted to children, right, but you're also a child, like that's not pedophilia. That's just not how that works.
Giving you said
cheesy bites.
What? You said yourself that you didn't want this Lucy person to stop sending you the
poopers.
So why the fuck does it matter if you asked for it? Because you're a minor, you wouldn't be a nonce regardless. You're still just a shitty person.
I never saved anything. I sent simply a screenshot to the FBI.
Bro, that's some fucking bullshit. You are not
Source?
a police officer. Along with this, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so? Like, I don't think that you have to be a police officer to collect evidence to send to the FBI. Like, do you have any evidence that what she's saying is bullshit, or is it just bullshit because you say so, right? Like, just saying it's bullshit doesn't actually make it the case, right?
Sure, you admitted to having a rape. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Along with this, you literally admitted to liking it beforehand. Fuck off. You literally cannot make this shit up. You are not a trustworthy source, like, at all.
What makes her untrustworthy? What did she lie about or say that was super untrustworthy?
As you tried to pin all of this onto Lucy, you...
Yeah, because Lucy was the one that was actually in the wrong. And was the one that had CP of a 10-year-old. So, yeah, that wouldn't be something that Piegirl was personally responsible for.
Daft No, seriously, what the fuck is that? You're probably asking. Oranges. There's a second document? Why aren't you reading that? Well, not only is it outdated because of this response, but it actually makes me really mad at how the original doc has Pieman try so hard to move herself away from the allegations. I
What allegations?
fucking hate this place, man. I swear to God.
If we're talking about the allegations of her being a pedophile, like, yeah, I could see why somebody who is clearly not a pedophile wouldn't want to be falsely accused of something. To that extent. Like...
I was under the impression you needed that level of proof to report someone.
I smell cap. Oh.
If you don't...
Why is it cap? Like, do you have any evidence? Or are you just gonna say it's cap because reasons, lol? It's cap because my butthole tingles. Wow, what an incredible line of reasoning there.
I think I could be stupid enough or do that little amount of research for this to happen. Just think about all the times I got huge problems wrong in research for my videos, like the Logan Paul video, or just earlier when I accidentally listed a bunch of my friends for no reason because of a misunderstanding over the word spread. I am a fucking dumbass.
Yeah, at least we can agree on that one, you fucking retard.
But there's no evidence I had malicious intent. There's
Agreed, there's literally none.
no evidence I just wanted to see the CP or that I'm a pedophile.
At that point of time, I didn't,
Hold on, which CP are we talking about? Are we talking about the one where she was 16 and the people that the images were of were like also 16 or 17? Or are we talking about the one of the 10-year-old? Because I think that's like a very important distinction to make. I think it's dishonest to categorize these things the same way, right? Like the images that she was whatever okay with seeing or whatever were of people that were the same age as her. So
I didn't want that to stop.
Yes, and I fucking quote, at the time I didn't want it to stop. You're not...
Okay, but was what she was talking about the images of people that were the same age as her, or was the cheese pizza she was talking about of the 10-year-old? Because I think there's like a huge difference there.
Not a pedophile, but you definitely had malicious intent when you were jerking off to your friends.
No photos.
These rumors are...
Well, you don't know if they were jerking off, though. You don't have evidence of that.
are blatantly false.
At that point of time, I didn't,
Which rumors? If the rumors containing pedophilia accusations are the rumors that are being referred to, then yes, those are false. There's not evidence to suggest that she's a pedophile.
I didn't want that to stop. I didn't want that to stop.
Haha, look at that screenshot again. The same one where Pieman admits to, fuck it, I'm done. Fuck you, bro.
I had the best of intentions. And why think I'm a horrible person if I had the best intentions while doing this?
See, this is the part where I actually get kind of mad because, my lord, I can't believe you say that knowing full well what the fuck you are doing. You are...
Again, you keep going back to the, well, you were fine with receiving nude images of your friends, even though you already apologized for that and acknowledged it was wrong and don't intend on doing that again. And also, there is no evidence to suggest that you didn't have the best of intentions when it came to collecting evidence against this Lucy individual. Like, there's not really any substantial evidence to suggest that Lucy had bad intentions when it came to creating this document or exposing Lucy, right?
What such a piece of shit.
At that point of time, I didn't want that to stop.
You were so thirsty that you wanted to bake your cake and eat it too. Oh my god, that is literally the perfect analogy. You wanted to expose a pedo and still first over your friends.
Okay, so do you think it could be the case that somebody does something that's kind of wrong? Like, being okay with receiving nudes of your friends that are the same age as you you think that that's like categorically the same thing as somebody being a literal PDF file that has a CP of a 10-year-old? I think that there's like a difference there. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe these are exactly the same thing and there's absolutely no difference between the two, but yeah, okay.
Donut! You're so stupid! You're so stupid!
Can you not do cringe ear rape? This is like 2016 shit. Like, oh my god.
Stupid! Dumb!
In conclusion, I'm 100% wrong
You get it? It's because loud equals funny.
the seeing my friend's nudes thing, but that's the only thing that makes me a bad person. Anyone calling me a pedophile or saying things like I saved CP or was asking for CP or wanted to look at CP is spreading false allegations and taking things wildly out of context.
Well, yes, this is objectively a true statement, right? So she acknowledges the fact that she was 100% in the wrong for seeing her friend's nudes, but that's the only thing in that situation that she actually did wrong, right? Receiving nudes of people that are the same age as you is not something that's pedophilic in nature. Not to mention that whether or not you receive them in DMs has nothing to do with whether or not you even save them or ask for them, right? So it would be a false statement to say that those images were saved or that she asked for them, right? She accepted the offer, but she didn't ask for them, right? So this is so this entire I guess this entire block of text is objectively correct. Because yeah, you are spreading false allegations if you're saying that, right?
At that point of time, I didn't want that to stop.
Yeah, alright, buddy.
I'm not asking for forgiveness right away, but someday in the future, when I'm a better person, please give me at least a chance to redeem myself. I'm a dumb 16-year-old who mishandled a pedo allegation and was a really shitty friend.
You called other...
Yes, that is what happened, right? Like that. What about that is untrue?
That's pathetic, and then try to throw all of the blame onto your partner in crime so you could expose the pedo and be a...
Wait, partner in crime? Well, like, again, what was the crime that Piegirl committed? What did she do wrong? Other than being okay with those images being sent of her friends that were the same age as her. Again, this doesn't add up. This is just, oh yeah, she did one shitty thing that isn't even close to being at the same magnitude of what Lucy did.
A hero. I'm glad you didn't try to stay on your platforms, but you should never come back. Minilad 2.0,
Minilad 2.0 because she didn't say no to receiving images that were nudes of people that were the same age as her. Apparently that makes you Minilad 2.0. That's the standard that we're invoking here.
I swear. Why is the video not over? Why are we not fading to fucking black? Wrong. I was just going to leave this bit out, but honestly I'm confused at everyone's post talking about how they're distancing themselves from the community, etc, etc. Oh, and I'm not going to mock the people who think this. This community is currently on fire and wanting to leave it is entirely fair, but I don't think this is going to be the incident that kills it. This whole idea that this is somehow evidence that the small commentary community is terrible doesn't make sense to me. In fact, that's another thing. Commentary is one of the only YouTube genres where everyone is actively trying to push each other away by putting everyone in different groups. You got the Neo CC, the SCC, the Art CC, the FCK, fucking
What the fuck is any of this? I literally have no idea. I'm sorry.
There's so many commentaries. Commentary is commentary. Fuck off. It just seems like we're all trying to take each other down. And I'm not saying we should defend people who do bad things.
Oh god, I wonder who that could possibly be. Trying to take each other down and, by doing things like, painting somebody as a PDF file and... yeah, no, I can't imagine. I can't possibly imagine who that would be referring to.
Things just because they're in this community. I'm just saying that we shouldn't act like just the small commentary community needs to be punished, because I swear to God, you motherfuckers weren't moving this way when John Swan was getting ass blasted all over the internet. Oh yeah, back then it was just a John Swan issue, he fucked up, it's not our fault for defending him, but it's small.
So I agree that small commentary as a whole isn't personally responsible for the actions of one individual, so I guess I agree with that, but again, like, this is still a shit video.
It's everybody, you know, in the small commentary community who gets shut down because Pieman's a fucking weirdo. Let's start learning from shit like this instead of repeating the exact same movements over and
Who is Minilad? He's a guy that was a YouTuber that got exposed for being an actual, like, predator. Like, he was like an actual child predator. Piegirl is not a child predator, so that comparison was fucking wild. Commentary died when John Swan was unfairly exiled by the Italian mafia. So true, Hoopty Scoopty. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, wow, what a shit video. Holy fuck. That was embarrassing. That what a complete and utter fucking joke. Oh my god. Now, I think what I'm gonna do is, hold on. I might just, I'm gonna see if Piegirl wants to VC or not. Maybe, or at some point. Because I did tell her that, on this specific stream, if she wants to call in at any point, that she's, more than welcome to. So I'm just gonna say, I'll say, streaming right now, by the way. Feel free to call in at any point. I think that's a good way of, yeah. So, let's not do the thing I literally just did. What a clown. Yeah, literally. Kind of busy right now, sorry. Okay. Fair enough. Okay, looks like she's not gonna call. Alright, I guess I can close Discord then. It doesn't seem like anybody else is gonna call in that would be relevant to the drama. If there is anybody relevant to the drama that wants to call in, just say something in my live chat, I guess. Alright. Yeah, that video fucking sucks. Wow. That truly is a small commentary moment, huh? Oh, man. So, what even is this? This is, oh man. I'm thinking of making a video essay about this, since I've already done like a lot of research on this specific topic. If I for instance, hold on. Video essay script. I dislike false allegations. If you dislike false allegations, then, I think you should smash like on the stream, because we all hate false PDF file accusations in this household. Okay, you know what? I think what I'm going to do is I've actually written part of a video script. I might make this into a video essay. So, this is going to be spoilers for the next couple minutes, just so you're aware. But I think that spoilers are based. Hold on. What would be the best music to play for this? Hold on. I'm gonna play this background music. This sounds like video essay music, I think. Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. Put that at that volume. Okay, alright. Intro. The video you're about to watch contains evidence of John Swan and his friends creating and spreading provably false accusations against Piegirl, insinuating that she's the dreaded P word for e-dating someone who she thought was a 13-year-old when, get this, she was 15. The claims that have been made about her have insufficient evidence at best and are provably false at worst. This video is going to be split into various chapters, so feel free to skip around at your leisure. Now then, let's get into the video. Backstory. Piegirl, formerly known as Pieman before she started transitioning, was a small commentary YouTuber who created the channel Pieman in 2020, uploading long-form, highly edited facecam videos discussing various topics, kind of like what I'm doing right now. She found herself constantly sharing extremely controversial takes and making very edgy jokes. In mid-2021, she started to really connect with someone named Lucy, who turned out to be one of the most vile and depraved human beings on the planet, talking in detail about how he wanted to grape a 14-year-old and eventually admitted that he had CP of a 10-year-old. Piegirl decided to collect evidence against Lucy in order to send it to the FBI before publicly releasing a document on Lucy. The Lucy, and then it plays a segment of Piegirl's video. I have like the timestamps written down, so it says 2 minutes and 43 seconds to 4 minutes and 17 seconds of Piegirl's video. So there are parts in the middle of that I'm gonna cut out, but that's like sort of like the starting point. And then I'm thinking of like hold on. I think this would be under this collection of songs, probably. Hold on. Hold on. This I'll probably have to play it quiet. Yeah. So, the Lucy document. Rather than immediately cutting ties with him, however, she decided to gather evidence that she could send to the FBI. She wasn't exactly sure as to how much evidence was needed to put Lucy behind bars, so she acted with the sole intention of gathering as much evidence as possible. When Lucy asked if he could send her CP of a 10-year-old, she said yes, and then immediately sent it to the FBI. This was completely in accordance with her goal of collecting as much evidence as possible and sending it to the FBI. Keep in mind that Piegirl was a 16-year-old child with absolutely no clue as to how the legal system operates, and acted with the sole intent of gathering as much... I'm repeating myself. For her, optics wasn't even part of the equation, as all she cared about was ensuring that a predator would be put behind bars. Little did she know that this would forever tarnish her image, as malicious actors, such as John Swan, would twist the narrative into Piegirl willingly receiving CP of a 10-year-old, making her just as bad as the predator she made a document on. John Swan's narrative is entirely contingent upon deliberately obfuscating the actual context of the situation I've laid out, context that was just as readily available to John Swan as it was for me in making this video. And then 4 minutes and 22 seconds to 5 minutes and 5 seconds of Piegirl's video plays, with some cuts. Now, one of the main people spreading John Swan's narrative is a friend of his called hahayeah, who made an entire 46-minute long video on Piegirl. And then the next segment is hahayeah's video. And I haven't written anything more than that. So, I gotta read logic papers for my classes now. See ya. Well, goodbye, Hoopty Scoopty. I hope you enjoyed your stay. Feel free to hop in whenever you want. I'm thinking of making like a video essay. There's gonna be all sorts of like fancy editing and stuff. But yeah, that's what I have written so far. I don't know if it's good or not. I've never. I guess I have made like one mini essay, I guess you could say, which was the Illuminati video I did, which was like a summary of everything that happened. That's like the only quote-unquote video essay I made, and it was like 14 minutes. It was very condensed, right? Whereas the goal of this wouldn't be to like condense information, it would just be to get all of the information. So it'd be like it'd probably be at least 30 minutes. It could be like 1 to 2 hours, most likely. Depending on how long the script ends up being. Jesus Christ, I can't even speak. But yeah, I just thought I might as well share that with everybody watching this epic live stream, since y'all are like the most real ones out there. You guys stick around and watch all my long form podcast style content, and I think that there's something special about that, right? So occasionally I might give sneak previews to whatever I'm working on. I mean, there's a chance that I never get around to making it into like a full-on video, but there's a good chance I do, and if I don't, then you got exclusive content, I guess. And if I do, you got a fucking nice ass preview to the thingy, yeah. Oh my god. I'm really good at speaking, I guess. Oh my god. But yeah, I guess we could get into the Piegirl video, because I don't know, I wouldn't say that the Piegirl video is perfect, but I think it's a decent video. So I did preview this in my previous live stream, and now I think it's time to get into get around to actually watching this, because I think, oh look, it has exactly 1,000 views. That's so satisfying. So satisfying. So, yeah. Without further ado, let's get started.
Over my years creating content, I've been witness to many stories of someone messing up, then having it taken out of proportion. This is all but natural in social media, where the most exaggerated takes get the most clicks, and nobody wants to be the last one denouncing whoever has been cancelled this week. However, never in my life did I expect myself to be the next to fall victim to this circumstance. While I definitely did terrible things I'll expand upon later on, the circus of misinformation that came about from this drama was staggering. There were a few good takes, and some of this was from misunderstandings and ignorance, but the most damaging and furthest reaching of them all was done through pure malice, created.
So I will say that right off the bat, invoking intent is like an interesting way of starting. So malice is something that's very difficult to prove. So I do think that it does get proven adequately. And I would criticize it for invoking intent before showing evidence, but this is the intro. I do think that I think that something... Oh, that's interesting. So it does have chapters, but it doesn't show up in the video. So like right here, it's like one thing, right? But in the description, it says chapters. It has the chapters. So I don't know why the chapters aren't showing up here. So I think that might be a YouTube error. Okay, so never mind then. Yeah, it literally is just the introduction. So I think where we're gonna start, because we never really got into the John Swan stuff, is the swan behind the slander.
It's been so long since I've seen myself lost to this myself, to the man behind.
Is that the bite of 87?
You might think, wait, hold on, you just got through debunking flimsy false pedo allegations against you? That should have been the end of this section. Hold your horses, because this is going to get somewhere interesting. hahayeah dedicates a portion of his video to a situation involving me and a much larger YouTuber called John Swan in late...
Yeah, big fan of John Swan, by the way. Great guy. I really like when he spreads false accusations against people. It's my favorite.
2020 when I was 15. In short, there was this girl who had flirted with me a few times on Twitter who said she was 13, but was lying about her age and was actually 12. When I found this out, I was shocked and decided to confront her, cutting her off and blocking her. During this confrontation, however, I vented my sexual confusion to the girl and said I was turned on by the age gap. Of course.
So yeah, so this was directly said to the girl, and I think that's like an important piece of context as well, right? Is like this girl that you have been dating for a while and have an emotional, romantic, and sexual attraction to, right? Who you perceived to be just 2 years younger than you, reveals that she's actually 3 years younger than you. Yeah, how do you react? It's like you still want to have some sort of connection with them, right? It's like, yeah, I don't, or was this vented to somebody else? I'm not entirely certain, actually. Oh, never mind. This is vented to somebody else. I was wrong. Based on these DMs, it's obviously not the girl, but either way, I think that being sexually confused when you find out that, oh, this person lied about their age, you know, I think that's like a perfectly reasonable thing. I also like how in parentheses it says, by the way, don't leak these DMs, but they ended up getting leaked by the person that she was DMing, that she told not to leak the DMs. So, wow, it must be a very stand-up, trustworthy individual, huh?
Of course, this was the weird thing to say, but as a 15-year-old with no maturity, having someone who flirted with me so aggressively, revealed themselves to be a year younger, would of course cause sexual confusion and some dumb things to be said that I didn't actually mean. Since I blocked them straight after this, honestly it should have been a private matter that I regretted, but instead the girl leaked a DM to a doxer, who decided to blackmail me with the screenshots and then post them publicly. And, well, I'll let William Aksher explain the rest from his video on the drama.
John decided to insinuate that Pieman is a pedophile because he sent a cringy, flirty message to a
Yeah, exactly.
12-year-old. Again, Pieman's only 15. John was making tweets such as, why did no one ask the age? You have a self-possessed IQ of 150 and you didn't think to ask the age of the girl you were flirting with in a sexual manner? Wow.
Yeah, and we already sort of, we already looked at the Willie Mack segment, and I completely agree with Willie Mack here. It's basically just showing that John Swan is insinuating that a 15-year-old is a pedophile for saying something cringy to a 12-year-old that she perceived to be 13 when she formed that attachment in the first place. So, yeah, I think we can skip past that part because we already sort of looked at it. So,
John, you started this on Twitter. You went onto his live stream to humiliate him. How is he attacking you?
Luckily for me, John Swan got into a massive controversy because he lied to his friends, the entire internet, and Dream about a Minecraft.
You have to keep in mind that before John Swan got into the whole Dream controversy, like his reputation was essentially unscathed by any of the retarded shit he did prior, right? Like John Swan, you have to keep in mind that like while John Swan doesn't really have that much of a voice anymore, and like it's like, okay, well, he's like a known liar, so like nobody takes anything he says seriously if he were to say anything. Like he was very like highly regarded and respected at the time, and like nobody took Piegirl seriously, and people were very quick to hop on the bandwagon to try and shit on Piegirl.
Sex mod.
Yeah, you always knew John was a bad guy. Even though he's been
leading people to actually pay renewed attention to how terrible of a person John Swan is for calling me a pedophile, and inciting a hate mob for a sexually confused DM to a person 3 years younger than me, as well as basically accusing me of suicide baiting.
You have to keep in mind that it took an entirely separate controversy for people to even realize. Like, I mean, there were a few people that knew that John Swan was full of shit beforehand, but like they were the vocal minority, right? Like it didn't really affect John Swan's reputation at all, right? Like John Swan was unscathed by it, right? So what you end up with is John Swan, who has a far larger audience and far more influence, and who is also far older than Piegirl, and you know he's using his platform maliciously to basically paint her as a PDF file. So you have to keep in mind that, like, again, like if it wasn't for the whole Dream thing, John Swan probably would have gotten away with this, right? So I think this is still like an important thing to go over because, yeah, in retrospect, we can say, well, yeah, obviously John Swan's full of shit. He's a bad person, right? But I think it's important to be able to tell when there are telltale signs of somebody being disingenuous or I guess being able to analyze content for what it is, being able to tell when allegations or certain insinuations are kind of bullshit, right? Like, I think it's important to be able to use that same level of analysis for future situations, right? I think that there's like a precedent we can look at and understand what that precedent actually means. Like the same way that in commentary, the whole Slazo situation is highly regarded as like a precedent set against false accusations, right? Where for those of you who don't know, Slazo was accused of being a rapist, okay? And these allegations were false. But everybody in commentary, not everybody, but a big portion of the commentary community, people like I'm Alex, Weast, Quite, etc., all came out in support of the accuser and denounced Slazo without even asking Slazo for his side of the story. Slazo then makes an entire video called My Side where he debunks all of the accusations, and guess what? Everybody that had denounced Slazo looked fucking retarded because, well, they had insufficient evidence. They didn't even really bother looking at the evidence and actually analyzing whether or not it's sufficient evidence to prove the actual claims that were being made. So that's why I think it's important to be able to analyze stuff like this, right? Not just look at it retrospectively in terms of, oh, well, yeah, obviously John Swan's a shitty person. Like, no shit, he lied about stuff. But being able to tell when somebody is full of shit before they've lost their credibility is super important. Being able to actually analyze this kind of stuff is super important.
I had to take John's massive controversy to even draw any attention to it too, because I'd even made a video criticizing John for all this, and it was at first laughed out of the community. John even...
Again, in retrospect, this video, you know, is going to be regarded in a far more positive light, right? But without that retrospect, people just were super quick to not even hear Piegirl out.
Jake reacted to a draft version of it that was leaked on the stream with the honorable gentleman elucid. After all, before the dream drama, John had an impenetrable reputation.
Exactly.
So, all that's what happened then, how does hahayeah describe it?
It seemed as if everyone was taking John's side, that Pieman was a terminally online loser who needed to log off, touch grass, and refrain from e-dating. Obviously, John faced a lot of backlash for this. Wait, hang on a second, that can't be right, can it? After ending the stream, again, an hour and a half later, Pieman, instead of logging off, faced support from the commentary community, with John Swan being branded as...
From a small portion of the commentary community, yeah. It was like mainly like the RFC community that was defending Piegirl. It was like it was Augie, I think Tommy C was defending her, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I think those are like the two main people, right? But like you have to keep in mind that like they were the vocal minority. It's not like they had and they didn't have as much reach as John Swan. Like John Swan was like massive. Like he had a huge voice. Like his voice meant a lot back then, right? Like people listened to him. Like people cared about what he had to say. So it's not like people just disregarded what John said.
As an awful person who called a 15-year-old a pedophile. This ignores the fact John said multiple times he didn't think Pieman was a pedophile.
Okay, but if you say that you don't think that somebody is a pedophile, but then you insinuate that they're a pedophile, and then I don't think it matters if you don't technically label them as that. If that's like the message you're trying to send, and the conclusion to everything you're saying is that, yeah, this person's a pedophile, you don't get to just have this plausible deniability where you're like, oh, well, no, I don't actually think you're a pedophile. I just like to insinuate that you are. And in the text here, this is what Piegirl wrote. John clearly implied it repeatedly anyway, and spoke about me like someone would about a pedophile. This is true. His references to, quote, urges, unquote, also match with what some of his followers said about me being a, quote, future pedophile, unquote. Something John never denied. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't John Swan outed as a PDF file himself? Not that I'm aware of. I would need to see evidence of that, right? Like, I'm not just gonna... I mean, it'd be funny if he was, but I doubt it. I don't think he's a pedophile. I'd need to see evidence.
Just
Because unlike him, I actually need evidence to come to a conclusion like that.
incredibly fucking strange. But no, they're both minors, guys. Don't worry, Pieman is completely normal and should be welcomed. We'll never show signs of these tendencies again, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah. Again, clearly implying that she's a pedophile, like unambiguously, which, I mean, granted, hahayeah admitted to.
People like Willie Macshow, OGRC, and Tommy C took the opportunity to platform and promote Pieman instead of crucifying them.
How disingenuous.
But why would you crucify somebody like Piegirl when, what did they do? They said like one cringy thing and like, yeah, they did like one bad thing. And then they regretted it and apologized and didn't do it again. Like, and they were also a child at the time. Like, okay.
To present the situation like all John did was tell me I'm weird and that I should log off. He also leaves out the entire part about John accusing me of suicide baiting, which is probably the worst thing he did in the whole controversy.
Yeah, accusing a child of suicide baiting if they're genuinely suicidal is fucked up. I feel like people will accuse anybody that's like mentally ill of doing it for attention. I mean, hell, that's happened to me. Like when I was off my antidepressants, like I had people saying I was suicide baiting because of a post where I didn't even say that I was. Like, the suicide baiting implies that you're like, that would be like threatening to commit suicide unless somebody does something that you want them to, right? Like, using it like as a means of getting something, right? But that's not what I did, right? Like, it was I did like a long community post where I vented my feelings out, and I basically said that, like, you know, because, you know, my life wasn't going anywhere, that there's like a good chance, you know, I unalive myself, I guess you could say, right? That wasn't me like trying to get anything. It was just me venting, right? But people will take stuff like that and be like, "Oh, you're suicide baiting," and they won't take mental health seriously. Again, this was when I was off my antidepressants, so it makes sense that I would be mentally fucking ill. But yeah, I think it does a disservice to people that are struggling, and to do that to a literal child is beyond fucked up. Like, as somebody that's experienced that, like, that shit's like being accused of suicide baiting when you're like genuinely on the verge of doing it is really fucked up. That's all I'm gonna say. And for those of you who don't know, like, when I wrote that, like, I didn't write. I mean, I guess I mean, I did write it more as like a hyperbolic statement, but like during that time period, like, I guess it wouldn't have been that hyperbolic, at least not as much as I thought it was. I mean, I did think about, you know, doing it, right? Like, it was something that I genuinely, you know, wanted to do. And, you know, I try to stay out of that kind of mindset, right? Like, I generally would rather not do something like, I don't know, ending my own life, right? I don't think that that's like I don't think I want to do it, right? But there are times where it's like, yeah, that's something that a lot of people genuinely struggle with, and to just label someone who was a child that was clearly struggling with that as suicide baiting, I mean, that's just disgusting. And I can't stress that enough. Like, I know it seems like a minor point, but like, as somebody that genuinely has struggled with mental health, it's, I don't know, that's like one of the worst things you can do. Like, that's genuinely, this is why I if anybody's irredeemable, it's John Swan, but I'd be willing to give somebody like John Swan a second chance, because I think that people can be bad people that become good people. I think bad people can become good people can become bad people, and good people can remain good people, bad people can remain bad people, etc. I think all of that is possible. I'm glad you stopped thinking about offing yourself and instead think about how much you want to get impregnated. Femyoz got out at his bottom. Nuh-uh. This is why I hate people saying there should be accountability online. Like, what the fuck does that even look like? Well, I think accountability, like, in some circumstances can be warranted. Like, I think that, John Swan and hahayeah should be held accountable for, basically slandering a child and insinuating that they're a pedophile with no concrete evidence to suggest that they actually are. And what that means is that I think that should be something that damages their reputation until they apologize or do something to right their wrong. And I think that would be, like, that's it. Like, it doesn't have to be, like, their career is over forever. I don't want hahayeah's career to be over. I just want him to remove the video that's harmful and apologize to Piegirl and make it right. That's all I want. I don't want his career to be over. I don't even necessarily think he's like an evil person. I just want him to do the right thing. And, he has all the time in the world to do it. But until then, I'm not going to support him. I think that he did something fucked up that he needs to fix and not double down on. Yeah, I struggled since my longtime partner died 2 years ago. I still cry every morning for up to 3 hours a day. Yeah. It's like, and people like, and this is why I have an issue with people accusing those who are genuinely struggling of suicide baiting. Like, you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what their day-to-day life looks like. You don't know if they cry themselves to sleep every night. You don't know any of that. All you know about is their online presence. So unless the only time I think it's okay to say that somebody is suicide baiting is if they're clearly trying to get something, right? Like, if you leave me, I'm going to kill myself. That would be suicide baiting. That's like what Cyrax does. Oh, I can't live without you. If you leave me, I'm going to kill myself. That's suicide baiting. But most instances of people getting accused of suicide baiting are just people that are genuinely mentally ill, trying to vent their frustrations to the world. I don't know. I know I went on a whole side tangent, but this is something that's like really important to me, I guess. Specifically, putting your suicidal ideation onto someone else in of itself is just seen as scummy to people, especially if you aren't close to that person. No, I would argue that if you're close to somebody and if you're using suicidal ideation as like a means of getting what you want out of them, I think it's worse if you're closer to that person in terms of like the amount of harm it does. Because that person cares about you. That being said, I think that venting on the internet is not suicide baiting. Like, if somebody is really upset and they're just venting on the internet and they're like, you know what, I'm gonna KMS by the end of the week. Like, even that I don't think of as suicide baiting. Now, that I might not take as seriously as because like that could just be hyperbolic, right? Like, oh, this sucks. I got my McDonald's order wrong. I'm killing myself, right? Like, if somebody says that, like, that's like more of like a joke rather than suicide baiting, right? So even that, I wouldn't accuse somebody of baiting. I think baiting is like a very specific, I guess it's like a very specific circumstance in which somebody is being manipulative and has the intention of using it to get what they want out of somebody, right? I think that's like a very specific thing. And I don't think that that's like something that someone should be accused of lightly. I just disagree, TBH. Venting to a close friend is completely different than venting to random people you don't know or have no foundational relationship with. Yeah, but if we're talking about suicide baiting, we're talking about something that's like a malicious, right? Something being used maliciously to get what you want out of somebody. So I would argue that it's worse because if you suicide bait to somebody that's close to you, because they're going to be more emotionally invested and they're more likely to actually do what it is that they're being told. It's not that the person that suicide baits to random people on the internet is like less malicious necessarily. It's just that the outcome of doing it to somebody close to you is worse, on at least on average, right? In terms of venting, I think that venting to a close friend, like as long as they're okay with it and like you're not like doing it too much, I think that that's like, yeah, more healthy, right? But I don't think that it's necessarily immoral to vent on the internet, right? And sometimes I think it's better to vent on the internet in terms of like, let's say you don't have any friends that are available to vent to, and you know you vent a lot and you need somewhere or someone to vent to. You know, it's not like you see your therapist every day, right? You just need to like vent. You just need to get some stuff off your chest. I think venting into the void that is the internet, I think it's fair enough, right? Like as long as you're not trying to get anything out of people, right? I think that that's like a perfectly acceptable thing to do. Now, whether or not it's healthy, I mean, I guess that's a different discussion, but I don't think it makes you like a bad person or makes you manipulative. Genuinely hate it when people unload all of their mental illness, all of their hardships, and all of their life struggles onto people who didn't ask for it whatsoever. Yeah, but I feel like if you're unloading it on like, I don't know, your Twitter account publicly, it's like, it's not like anybody has to single-handedly bear that information, right? They're not going to be like emotionally invested the same way that like a close friend would be, right? So it sort of balances out, right? Whether or not it's malicious is irrelevant to me. I just see it as unhealthy, extremely unhealthy and toxic. I mean, you could potentially make an argument for it being unhealthy, I guess. Like if you do it too much, then yeah, I would argue that's unhealthy. I think occasionally venting to the internet like is like a valid thing to do, right? Like you don't want to like trauma dump constantly with your friends, right? Like, I mean, sure, like you want to that like those are the people that you want to be like the most like personal with, but sometimes you don't want to unload everything onto like one close friend, right? Because that can be a bit much for them. Whereas if you just unload it on the internet, where it's like nobody really has to bear the brunt of it, right? Because nobody's really emotionally invested in it, right? Like you can just not look at it, right? You don't have to look at Twitter account. Like, and if that's like if that's like somebody's entire Twitter account, let's say, like it's like, okay, well just don't follow them on Twitter. Like, and I would agree that like that's probably unhealthy. But if it's like every once in a while you make a YouTube community post venting or like a Twitter post venting, I think that's like that can be like an okay outlet, right? Like, I mean, hell, I think there's also different ways of doing it, and some ways are going to be healthier than others, right? Like, I think I've been very open about my personal struggles, but I don't do it in a way that's unhealthy, right? I do it in more of like a retrospective, this is the mindset that I was in, right? And I acknowledge the fact that like I'm not immune to developing that mindset again, right? Like there have been times before the most recent time I genuinely wanted to, you know, do the thing. You know, there were times before that where it's like I looked at other times in retrospect, I'm like, well, I don't want to do that, right? But here's the thought process, right? So I think that the reason that you probably don't think that the way I'm doing it is unhealthy, right? Is because I'm doing it in a way where it's like, okay, I acknowledge that this was the situation and, you know, this isn't something I intend on doing. and you know, it is what it is, and I think it's okay to feel this way, and I think that it's something that should be taken seriously, right? Like you wouldn't say that me sort of going through that whole thought process was unhealthy. Like I think I did it in a very reasonable, healthy way, right? Like that's not really trauma dumping. That's more like just being open, right? It's not even me venting necessarily, right? Now, if I were to vent, I mean, then, you know, maybe that would be a red flag for you, but I think that there's like a healthy way of being open about your mental health on the internet, right? Like anyone that tries to use that, like, and you could say, oh, well, you don't want to put that out there on the internet. People will use it against you. It's like, okay, well, then that just makes them look shitty, right? Like if someone takes that and they're like, you know what, you should do it. It's like, well, I never really take what random people on the internet say about me as seriously, right? It's like, well, people tell me to unalive myself all the time, regardless of whether or not I'm open about this kind of stuff, right? It doesn't really matter. It's like, if a transphobe wants me to 41% myself, for instance, it just makes my my contrarian instincts sort of fester a little bit and makes me not want to do it. It actually decreases the chances of me doing it, if anything, because it's like, oh, well, I want to prove you wrong. I'm not going to do it because, you know, I don't want to become a part of this statistic, right? But I think that, I mean, this is a whole side tangent, but all this tangent really stems from is you never know what people are going through, and I don't think that it's fair, especially not to a child that's venting their emotions on the internet, to say that they're suicide baiting, right? Like, I don't think that that's fair to them, especially not if you have as much influence as John Swan had, right? I guess I'll leave it at that, and we can continue this.
Matt's terrible research skills also present themselves again as he makes up out of thin air that I sexted the IMALEXTERN69 girl, despite nobody ever saying that. She used to make—
Yeah, like there was no evidence provided. Like, he just says it. I guess that I should have brought that up in the debate as well, but it never really came up. And, I mean, ultimately, the debate I had with Spinnling went well regardless, so I guess that doesn't really matter. But I do think it's a good point.
Make weird horny replies to my tweets and post horny messages in a massive group chat that had 30 people in it who would always leak everything. The most sexual I got with a girl was making sexual jokes to her in public or in basically public. I never roleplayed or exchanged nudes or sexted or anything. I probably interacted with her less than 10 times. So
So, I don't know. I probably interacted less than 10 times. Don't know how I feel about that. I feel like she would have interacted with them more. I feel like, does she mean like in DMs rather than like in GCs? Because like if they're constantly flirting in GCs and there's like an emotional attachment, like I feel like that would make more sense, right? And then it's like, oh, but like in one-on-one like individual DMs it was 10 times. I assume that's what she means, because it wouldn't really make sense for her to be all that emotionally confused if there was a total of 10 interactions between the two, like in general, including in group chats, right? That would be really strange then to make the comment of, well, I'm actually more attracted now that I find out you're younger type of thing, right? There wouldn't be as much of a reason to be emotionally confused there, right? So I assume she means that, like in terms of like individual DMs. Is she a minor? Ew. Yeah. Well, I think now Piegirl is now, because a lot of this stuff is like a while ago. Piegirl is like 18 now, I think, from what I understand. All of this happened when in like in around from 2020 to 2022. And this specific situation was in December of 2020, I think. I mean, that is what it says here, right, in the text. But yeah, I mean, she was 15. She perceived the person that was flirting with her and that she was flirting with back to be 13. Finds out she's actually 12. Yeah. The fact they were flirting is enough for me, bro. What? Well, it's a 15 and a 13-year-old, right? Or that was the perceived age gap. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's like, I mean, it's personally not something I would want to witness. That's just because it's like, I don't know, I just don't like when people that are significantly younger than me say things that are sexual. That makes me uncomfortable. Because it's like, ew. Like, I don't want to be like, I don't like when I don't like when they do that. But it's like, okay, if they're doing it to each other, like, I guess it's harmless. Like, it's better if they keep it in private. But yeah, that's a sophomore with an 8th grader. No. It would be it'd be like a well, 14 to 15, I think, is freshman. And 13 to 14 would be 8th grader. So it could be like a freshman and an 8th grader, depending on when their birthdays are. You're 15 as a sophomore. Well, it depends on when your birthday is, right? Yeah. You would be 14 to 15 as a freshman, 15 to 16 as a sophomore, 16 to 17 as a junior, 17 to 18 as a senior. Yeah. It has to be that way. Because I know for a fact that seniors have to, unless they get held back or some weird shit happens, like, you end high school as an 18-year-old, basically, right? 12 to 13 is 8th grade? No, that's 7th grade. You're wrong. What month did this all happen? I don't know. But again, like, I feel like if the perceived age gap is 2 years, like, it's like, okay, yeah, sure. Like, let's say it is an 8th grader and a 10th grader. Like, yeah, okay. Like, I feel like that's something that's like, okay, I'd prefer it not be that way, but like, I don't think that makes somebody like a predator, right? No, no, 12 to 13 is 7th grade. Google it. Okay. Okay, so if 14, you're in 9th grade. Well, yeah, 9th grade would be 14 to 15, right? 8th grade would be 13 to 14, right? There's gonna be like two numbers associated with each grade, right? Because people have birthdays during the school year, believe it or not. So an 8th grader would be 13 to 14. A freshman in high school would be 14 to 15. A sophomore would be 15 to 16. Junior would be 16 to 17. Senior would be 17 to 18. What month did the flirting happen? I don't know. But nobody has provided very much evidence of anything. So it's like, I assume that the flirting happened because Piegirl acknowledges that, yeah, there was something going on there, right? Not the sharing of nudes, but like clearly there was some sort of like a connection there, right? But there isn't really any saved or documented evidence of it, so I mean, I don't know what specific month it happened in, right? But again, 13 and 15, really, I mean, what if it's 13 about to turn 14 and the 15-year-old like is like turned 15 a month ago or some shit like that? It's like, okay, like you don't know, right? So you assume the most charitable scenario until there's counter evidence, right? Like you can't just assume worst case scenario without evidence, right? Again, I think that 12 and 15 is definitely bad. I don't think that that would be healthy, but you have to keep in mind that like 15-year-old is still a child, right? Like a 15-year-old doesn't have good decision-making abilities, right? So a 15-year-old might not even necessarily understand why that would be wrong, right? The same way that a 15-year-old might not understand why it's wrong to say, for example, date a 20-year-old when they're 15, right? Like but you would agree that a 15-year-old dating a 20-year-old would be wrong, and that the 20-year-old would be the bad person in that situation, and that the 15-year-old would be the victim, right? The 15-year-old isn't old enough to understand why an age gap like that is wrong in the first place, right? So you wouldn't hold that against them for the rest of their life. I think that same line of logic applies there, right? If they're not old enough to understand why an age gap like that is wrong, then why would they suddenly be old enough at the same age of 15 to understand why a 3-year age gap is wrong in the other direction, right? Now, proportionally, obviously, an age gap in the other direction per year is going to be larger, right? So, like, in like a proportional sense, an 11 and a 13-year-old is going to be a larger age gap than like a 16 and an 18-year-old, right? Like proportionally speaking, like 11 and 13 is larger by some amount, right? But still, it's a 2-year age gap. You can still be a sexual predator as a minor. I'm not saying that you can't, but it's just I don't see a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old as inherently predatory. Like, it's like I'd prefer it not be the case, but like if it's like a sophomore in high school and an 8th grader. But again, it's a 2-year age gap at that point. Like, I don't see it as like the end of the world, right? Now, obviously, a 2-year age gap is going to be a lot more when you're younger. Like, again, like, the reason I brought up the example of 11 and 13, like, that's like that could be like if let's say that's, like a 6th grader and an 8th grader. I mean, when you're in 6th grade, like, 8th graders are, like, fucking giants in comparison. It's weird because when you're in 6th grade, you see 8th graders as, like, so much older than you. Then when you're in 8th grade, you're like, actually, I mean, 6th graders are a lot younger than me, but like it's like not as much as I thought, right? Like I don't see them the same way I thought I would when I was their age, right? Like it's like I don't know how to describe it. Maybe that's just because I'm short and didn't grow very much. So it was like, oh, you know, I thought I was gonna be like 5 trillion times taller than them, but that's just you, bruh? Nah. No, like, I specifically remember when I was in 6th grade, I was like, 8th graders are massive. Like, they're just, like, so tall. But I guess I didn't really grow that much. Like, I had, like, a little bit of a growth spurt, but, I mean, I'm 5'6" now, so, like, I'm not very tall, and I was shorter in 8th grade than I am currently. So, I think I was just short, to be honest. I was, like, people always thought that I was younger than I actually was. Like, I had, like, people that didn't know me were like, oh, wow, you're in 7th grade, right? And I'm like, no, I'm in 8th grade, idiot. They're like, oh, yeah, sorry, forgot, It's like, yeah, okay, like, just say I haven't fucking hit puberty as much as everybody else. It's just like that was me at the time. It's like, oh god, I don't know. Like I was always like kind of a small kid. Depends on what she did after she found that she was 12. Well, she ended up blocking her. Like, at first, she was, like, sexually confused, and was like, well, maybe I actually like that more, question mark. and that would be bad if that's the case. And then she realized, actually, no, this is fucked up. She lied to me. Like, the emotional attachment I had wasn't what I thought it was. I don't know. I mean, it's also going to depend on, like, okay, what kind of person are we dealing with, right? Like, we're talking about, like, an extremely, like, autistic, socially inept 15-year-old as well. Like, to even think that for a second is fucked. If you're a 15-year-old child, like, do you even know any better, though? Like, like, she was just confused because she had an attachment to this person, right? Like, if you have an attachment to somebody and then you find out some sort of new information about them that makes you want to cut them off, such as them being younger than they said they were, right? You might immediately be like, actually, I'm going to cut them off. But, like, I think the reason that she got confused in a way that led to that controversy was because romantic feelings don't just magically disappear in, like, 1 nanosecond, right? Like, if you have an emotional attachment to somebody, like, that doesn't just magically go away, like, in 1 second, right? It's the same reason that abusers can get away with abusing, right? Is because even if their abuse is blatant, like, you view them differently and through the lens of, I guess, your emotions, if you've already built up a connection with them. At 15, you know right from wrong, you know not to be a predator. Wait. As a 15-year-old, when she found out that the person was 12, she cut ties with her, right? But that didn't mean that her feelings immediately went away. So she did the right thing by cutting ties. And she basically just vented to somebody that she was, like, really confused and scared because she still had feelings for this bitch, right? But I think that still having feelings for somebody right after you find something out about them is, like, a perfectly normal and human response, right? Like, your feelings don't just magically disappear, right? So it's not like she did anything, like, after finding out that this person was younger. No, the fuck it's not. So you think that feelings don't exist and that they just magically disappear when you find out some new information about somebody that causes them to not be who you thought they were? Like, again, you're still, like, if you still have feelings for somebody, that's not, like, within your control because the feelings that she had were for a false perception of an individual, right? And when that false perception gets shattered, it doesn't get shattered in an instant. I mean, to some extent, like in an intellectual sense, right? It gets shattered, but, like, emotionally, like, you get confused because you still have feelings for that false perception of somebody that you had, right? So the feelings take a little bit of time to catch up. And I think that's what she dealt with, right? Like, intellectually, she knew to cut this person off, and she did, right? That's, like, the first thing she did, was she blocked her on Twitter, right? But she still had those emotions that were taking time to catch up, and she didn't know what to do about it. Like, I don't know. I mean, I could spend all day arguing with Kick Chat, but I don't know. I think that unless you're a late birthday, you're correct, Femi. Yeah. Piegirl's Twitter says 18, yo. Well, yeah, now she's 18, right? But, like, she was 15 at the time. Anyways, I think this was very distracting. I think we can continue with the video at this point.
Matt misconstrues the John Swan situation just like you got the rest of the video wrong. How is this some massive revelation? But what if I told you there was a plot twist? The reason the video defends John Swan so much isn't just because hahayeah is literally a close friend and editor for John Swan. Oh, you didn't know that? Well, you do now. Anyway, the real reason is because John Swan was a puppet master, orchestrating the video's production from behind
I like the use of Nicholas Diorio background music. I specifically want this song for a video essay, actually. I think it works well at, like, adding tension and shit.
Scenes. Much of the evidence from this comes from a former close associate to John Swan. Much of what he alleges he provides proof of, and the anecdotal claims from things like voice calls are backed up by other former close associates of the Swan. I also asked a couple.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that John would have folders on everybody. I mean, hell, I have some folders on a few people in terms of, like, evidence against them or whatever, but, like, I never really did anything with it, so I guess I can't blame him too much. It's like, yeah, I had a folder, like, I have a few folders on commentary people of shit that I've saved, but I'm not gonna leak any of it. It's just more like a personal archive. It doesn't surprise me that you're a bottom. Shut up. I only keep nude folders. Well, I can't say there were any nudes, unfortunately. Well, I don't know. I guess it would depend on who the commentary person is. You know. I think Nicholas Diorio nudes would be great. You know, imagine if I had nudes of Nicholas Diorio. Oh, that'd be so hot. Oh, he's such a beautiful specimen. Anyways, let's continue.
Couple people still friendly with John, whether the claims are true, and they all just say they don't want to comment on it. Let's rewind things a little bit.
They're such a beautiful specimen, hell yeah. Oh, imagine if I had nudes of Femyoz, so I didn't read the first part. Why, thank you. First I thought you were talking about Nick Diorio. I thought you were going along with the joke.
Rewind time.
After the whole controversy in 2020, John Swan ended up apologizing to me on a call. It wasn't a very
Yeah, it was not a sincere apology, to say the very least.
good apology. He was defending himself and attacking me most of the time.
Getting involved in... It's the most YouTuber-esque apology imaginable. I think that the only thing that could have made the apology better is if he sighed at the beginning and was fake crying. I think that's, like, the only thing he could have done. Like, he should have put on the face cam and pulled a Laura Lee by adding a singular tear between cuts. But I guess it was a live call, so I guess he couldn't do that. But yeah, anyways, let's continue.
It wasn't a very good apology. He was defending himself and attacking me most of the time.
Getting involved in this was a mistake in the first place, but I think it all goes back to a few months ago. I'd just blown up in a big way, and I don't think I was fully aware of how much...
I don't think I was fully aware. Again, just trying to not be held accountable for his actions. It's fucking bullshit. I wasn't aware of my actions, so don't hold me accountable. He may as well just fucking say that.
An audience I really had, and I said some things on Twitter that I very much regret looking back on now. I definitely was very emotional at that time. I shouldn't have let my emotions get the best of me, and I should...
Guys, I was just emotional. I shouldn't have let my emotions get the best of me, ooh-woo.
You've even engaged in the first place. I apologize for being super emotional in that call.
Can we get a fit check, please, after this segment?
I think you need a break. As in, no online stuff. Like, you need to log off of stuff and you need to, like, not be on it.
I love how he just has to... He just has to tell her to get off the internet in his fucking apology. Very sincere apology, by the way.
Talk about the stream I did, where I said you suicide baited. I want to talk about that.
Mm-hmm. Go on.
This is probably the hardest thing for me to say today.
But I didn't care for lengthening the drama, so I accepted.
Unfortunately, the call got cut off, for those of you that are listening to the audio. It seems like John never even said the word sorry once in his apology. But goes on to tweet saying, I've apologized to... Oh, that was before she came out as trans. I've apologized to her for lots of things I said in the past. And she has also made good on things regarding the video she made. I appreciate how open she was to hearing me out and her maturity in accepting my apology. She's a good kid, and I wish her nothing but the best. Okay. Yeah, totally a real apology, everybody.
Accepted it, and the public largely accepted it too. However, John was being deceitful this whole time, faking the apology. He had not felt sorry for anything and recorded the call with the intent of leaking it anonymously later to get back at me somehow. And recorded the call...
Let's read what this says. So... Here's a tweet from Piegirl from 2021. So it says, It has come to my attention that John Swan has been messaging small commentators telling them that I'm a liar and a clout chaser with, quote, nuclear, unquote, evidence to prove it. I know for a fact I never lied about our situation, so John, release whatever, quote, nuclear stuff you have. So, I will need to see evidence of John Swan messaging small commentators before I come to a conclusion. I don't remember if it's in the video. And while I might believe what she's saying in more of like an interpersonal way, because I definitely wouldn't put it past the Swan, the big Swan, I would still need to see evidence of this specifically before coming to a conclusion. And then in text at the bottom, she adds, as usual, this tweet was true. All Psych told me this, but after I called out John publicly, John pressured All Psych into claiming it was a joke. Again, I don't know about this, so I need to see like screenshot evidence at the very least.
With the intent of leaking it anonymously later to get back at me somehow.
And that's something you
What's
want
to say
avoid.
it couldn't just be one of you guys, and then one of you guys send it to someone else, and then someone else send it to someone else, and it just went like on a train. Because obviously I don't care. I don't know. I'm just
you would have a motive though. You would have the motive of, I guess, setting your reputation straight. The question is, how convincing is the call though? Because I've seen some of it, but that was a while ago.
So this call was leaked by Buncanadian. The original stream is linked in the description. So obviously we're probably going to go to the description at some point, if need be, if we need to look further into this.
So how, like...
No, the call's pretty bad.
How compelling would your
for
case
Pieman
be in this
stuff.
situation?
In that call, I was just like, I just want it all to end. And I was like, I was so incredibly compromising. I gave him the out.
I was so incredibly compromising. Okay. Yeah, it just wanted it to end. Didn't actually care about apologizing. So that is in direct opposition to what John was saying on Twitter, basically.
Every opportunity, like every single thing that he could have had, like fault for, I basically said, it's no worries. It looks incredibly bad for him, incredibly good for me.
No, it fucking doesn't. And this is, again, a complete contradiction in terms of what he said on Twitter publicly versus what he's saying privately in a call. So it just goes to show that, wow, what a two-faced liar, I guess you could say. So, again, I'm not very inclined to believe anything that John Swan has to say at this point.
There is almost no framing that looks bad for me, that call. It's pretty bad for Pieman, and we can listen to it later, the full thing, but...
How is it bad for Pieman? Or Piegirl?
I feel like if we want to do this, there's only one way. You create a new Twitter account with a number that none of you have registered, so we get someone else to make a Google Voice number or something, and then we leak it through that, so it has no ties to literally anyone.
Oh, okay, so this is the evidence that proves that, yeah, John Swan did intend on leaking this. So, yep, there we go. Case closed. Yeah, alright, so at this point, it's the claim that was made has been proven to be true in the clip shown here. So, yeah, so, yes, he was talking to smaller commentators about this, and intended on leaking it, so.
And then we leave it for like ages, and then all of a sudden people start retweeting it out of nowhere, because you could just say you found it through like Twitter search or something, and that's probably the best way for you to do it.
This is how you know that John Swan is malicious as well, because nobody acting in good faith would do this, right? Like if he didn't think that he was in the wrong for leaking the call, he wouldn't have to create this elaborate plan for how the call is going to get leaked without him being held accountable for it, right? So he knows that it's wrong because he doesn't want to be held accountable, but he's doing it anyway, right? So, yeah.
At least the way I thought about it. Because you can't do it through an account that has followers, I don't think. That's not going to work. Because that would almost be like a mystery then, right? Like, you don't even know who the leaker is. And you could honestly say, like... Okay. I could just say, like, I sent it in a group chat with a bunch of people in there, and one of them probably took it and sent it to other people, and it went down the chain. That's probably what I would say. I don't have to go into depth about who those people were in that group chat, or how it got there. but eventually
I mean,
it got to someone
You don't
else.
want to get dragged into like a controversial situation again. Like, right, that would be like.
I think it's going to be inevitable. I'm going to have to say something about it. When it happens, when it leaks, that's the opportunity. Because right now, I can't just come out and say something, right? I can't have a single hand in it, apart from like... I honestly think you don't need to think this far into it. I could just say, I sent it to a group chat, and one of those people, well, either the leakers or they sent it to someone else. And I don't have...
I mean, he's literally admitting to being a dishonest, lying sack of shit and not wanting to take accountability for doing something that he knows is wrong. Again, if he didn't think this was wrong, he would just leak it. He wouldn't have to create an entire plan in order to evade being held accountable for his shitty actions. So this goes to show two things. One, he's acting maliciously. This proves single-handedly that John Swan is acting in bad faith and that he's malicious. It also proves that he's a liar. He is not to be trusted because he is admitting here in this call to creating an entire plan that relies entirely on him lying to the internet and being extremely dishonest in order to evade accountability, right? The evading accountability is how you know he knows he's in the wrong for doing this, right? And him admitting to, well, planning on lying is proof that, well, he is a fucking liar.
have to name anyone. There has to be, there literally has to be no names thrown around, because that group chat could have been months ago.
What happens if
And
this gets really big and you know, if this gets really big, someone's going to bring up the question, you know, like, do you seriously not remember anyone that was in that group chat? And I think that's
Yeah, I could say I remember who they were, but I don't suspect that anyone in there would have leaked it, so I don't know.
John Swan harbored extreme resentment towards me. In his private group chats and servers with his entourage of editors, which were all children, John would organize harassment campaigns against me. These teenage editors would spam memes and tweets either saying or implying I'm a pedophile, many of which were ghosts made by John who would not be publicly involved for optical reasons. Even months after everyone, including myself, had moved on from my drama with him, John would remain completely obsessed with me, believing that what had happened was a calculated attempt to end his career. He would constantly talk about me in voice calls and that what had happened...
Yeah, so here's what was said from the quote anonymous source. So here it is. John Swan had recorded their private apology call and asked their friends to create an alternative account on a burner email, let it sit for months so as not to arouse suspicious, I think it means to say suspicion, and then to publicly post the call and blame it on Piegirl's friends to make it seem like she recorded the call, all to make it this 15-year-old 2K sub YouTuber look bad. Even months after the controversy, John Swan was completely obsessed with Piegirl, believing that it was a calculated attempt to end her career. To end his career. Sorry, I'm replacing Piegirl's pronouns. I think that's a reference to John Swan's career. John Swan was completely obsessed with Piegirl, believing that it was a calculated attempt to end his career. John Swan would constantly talk about Piegirl in voice calls. So, yeah, if that doesn't come across as unhinged, then I don't know what does. Felix Chaplin in chat says, you don't want to take accountability for the fact that you want to get bread. Shut up.
Was a calculated attempt to end his career. He would constantly talk about me in voice calls and, well, dox me and call to his buddies. For example...
So, honestly, I mean... Again, this is something I'll need to see evidence for. Maybe it's shown, maybe it's not, but that's a very difficult thing to prove because, you know, in order to prove it, like, the easiest way to do that would be to show you that he posted your docs, and you don't want people to find your docs, so I could understand struggling to find evidence. But I mean, considering all of the circumstantial evidence in terms of what we have seen from John Swan acting in bad faith, I'm inclined to believe Piegirl here, even if she doesn't have evidence for the specific point, right? Just based on all of the other circumstantial evidence, right? So I think this is one of those instances where circumstantial evidence can be used to support like an anecdote, right? It's not like the things that have been proven are much better than this, right? So it says, even months after the controversy, John Swan was completely obsessed with... Oh, wait, I already read that. My bad. Oh wait, no wait, I didn't. So let's try this again. Even months after the controversy. So we did read that part. Examples of some weird behavior is finding a tweet of Piegirl at an airport and then zooming in on a background object to show the group chat what airport Piegirl was at. He also created a Google Drive full of information about Piegirl to discredit her, showing the folder to multiple people. John Swan also found Piegirl's school uniform logo, and cross-referenced it to every private school in Australia to find out where she went to school. Unfucking hinged. Holy shit.
Example, once John found a tweet of me at an airport and zoomed in on a background object to show the group chat what airport I was at. Also, John once found my school uniform logo and cross-referenced it to every private school in Australia just to find out where I went to school. This isn't...
Yeah, this is unhinged, and if you want to make the argument of, oh, well, John was actually against doxing and did this in order to tell Piegirl, hey, maybe you want to remove this because it could be used to dox you. First of all, you wouldn't need to actually go through the entire process of finding the dox, right? And, you know, you could just say, hey, this could be used to dox you. Like, just privately tell Piegirl that so that she removes it. Like, he wouldn't need to archive it and cross-reference it and do all this crazy shit just to you know, prove that, oh, yeah, this can be used to... Because I think that anybody in Piegirl's situation would just be like, okay, yeah, I'll remove it if this could be used to dox me. Like, you don't need to know the specific details or have proof that it could be used. Like, you're just going to remove it, right? You're just going to use common sense there. And if you don't, I guess that's on you, right?
Sane person behavior and doxing someone even to just your friends is highly unethical. This is also only some of what John did apparently, as this is only what my source states he had evidence of. Right after the Lucy...
Again, under most circumstances, I wouldn't be inclined to believe an anonymous source, but because this isn't the sole proprietor of evidence, and because we have seen very strong evidence that proves beyond any reasonable doubt that John Swan was acting in bad faith and was clearly trying to ruin Piegirl in terms of her reputation and whatnot. I don't think it's that far-fetched to believe what this anonymous source is saying, right? Simply because there's so much other circumstantial evidence to corroborate the entirety of this narrative, right?
Drama and me being forced offline, behind the scenes John started organising a video collaboratively made by the members of this private Discord server meant as his final revenge against me. Members of this private group chat who likely worked in the video about me included John Swan, hahayeah, Alpsyche, Norris, and Dr. Skipper, among others. Like the Avengers teaming up, this was a server-wide effort to slander me and bury my reputation, headed by a vengeful sociopath type LARPing as a mob boss.
So I will need to see evidence of like the people that are whatever a part of the John Swan friend group participating in it, right? Like I'll need to see evidence of that, right? Because I haven't been because like I don't know anything really about Dr. Skipper or whoever the other person was. But yeah, again, like this is what I mean when I say, okay, like this could just be conjecture, right? Just based on what we've seen so far in terms of like, okay, that's good, yeah, sure.
As you can see from these screenshots, John created
Okay, so yeah, this is again just more evidence that she's collecting evidence on Piegirl, unfucking hinged, given all of the other shit we know. And yeah.
A Google Drive folder full of everything he could gather on me for the explicit purpose of one of his editors to upload the video against me. Originally this...
So I have seen a like a live stream discussion thingy involving hahayeah, who I think is the editor being referred to. It seems to be the case, at least according to hahayeah, that he decided to make the video like on his own accord, and that it John Swan didn't have that much to do with it. I don't know if I believe hahayeah. I don't think that he's like a super credible source. So I guess this is more of like a he said, she said kind of thing. Anyways, let's continue. I'll do a fit check after we're done with this segment.
This person was meant to be Norris back in 2021, but after the Lucy situation, it was decided hahayeah would.
Hold on, wait. Let's
It was
go
meant
back.
to be Norris back in 20.
Because Norris was gonna make the video on you first. Oh, interesting. Yeah, then Norris dropped the project. Was this in 2021? Yes. And I guess the idea popped up again after the whole February incident, more than likely. Again, I don't know who Camy is, so I don't know if this is, I don't know. Like, and then this tweet could be like a joke, right? So I'm not sure how I feel about implicating Norris. This is like, okay, here's Norris making like an obvious joke. Norris gang discussing how to frame Pieman as a pedophile again. Like, okay, this is a joke, right? Like, this doesn't really add any additional evidence, right? So I'm not a fan of putting Norris into this, right? It doesn't seem like there's enough evidence to suggest that this is the case, right?
2021, but after the Lucy situation, it was decided hahayeah would be the public face of the video.
So I think that this could be the case. However, I think it would have been better to censor Norris's name and say, from what I understand, there was going to be another editor that was going to do this. However, all I have is somebody telling me that that's the case, so I'm not going to involve them. So I guess that'd be like a criticism of the video.
As the final video was released on the 20th of March, and John was adding to the folder only weeks earlier, it's reasonable to assume John was involved in its actual production, as he was responsible for the evidence gathering and was the one pushing for the video to be made in the first place. But just
that could be the case. I think that's like a reasonable thing to conclude, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it is definitively the case, right?
how involved was he? Well, while we don't have access to private calls or the Discord server, another situation that happened around the same time is so similar that I believe we can gather a decent amount of insight by examining it. In April 2022, a core member of John's entourage called Camy
Oh wow. Rusty Cage background music, is that what I'm hearing? Based?
got into drama with John because he was kicked out of a Discord server or something stupid like that. John got obsessed with and really mad at him, and decided to publish false pedophile allegations about him as revenge, using hahayeah as a proxy to hide his own involvement. A core member of John's entourage called Camy got into happened around the same time is so similar that I believe we can gather a decent amount of insight by examining it. In April 2022, a core member of John's entourage called Camy.
Okay, so Camy is the same person that was cited as the source that told her that this other person was originally going to make the video. So that's interesting. Okay.
Got into drama with John because he was kicked out of a Discord server or something stupid like that. John got obsessed with and really...
Okay, so I don't know. This is too small for me to read. I mean, I could like screenshot it, zoom in, and read it, but I don't care about this.
Mad at him, and decided to publish false pedophile allegations about him as revenge, using hahayeah as a proxy to hide his own involvement.
Wait, I think I do know about this to an extent. I think that Destiny got involved and was like debating people on this, defending Camy. And hahayeah looked really bad. So here's a tweet from hahayeah saying, yesterday me and some friends found out Camy, someone I considered a friend for nearly a year, had been having disgusting and explicit conversations with a girl he knew to be 15. Cam is 18, turning 19. There's a document below with all of the proof and context. Okay.
This is all sounding too familiar, isn't it? Camy, who was 18, had been in a consensual sexual relationship with a 15-year-old named Liz, who was pressured by a friend to make it public. After John Swan was made aware of this, he decided to use Liz to try to harm Camy during the
Okay, so let's see.
After John Swan was made...
So here's what John Swan says to Liz. So John, okay, there are two ways you can go with this. One, I believe, is a lot better than the other, but they both have upsides and downsides to it. And Liz responds, all right. And John says, option 1 is you stay completely anonymous and have someone else write a Google Doc on your behalf. Your name would be censored from the screenshots. The downsides to this are that people may not believe it because they haven't seen a real victim. If it's all anonymous, how do they know it's not all made up? It'll probably lead to a lot of people doubting the story. However, at the same time, it saves you public embarrassment and from you having to do anything at all. Option 2 is to release something yourself, maybe in conjunction with someone else's document or with your own. Obviously, this means that your name would be thrown around when talking about this stuff. I can recognize that the screenshots are pretty embarrassing, and having that stuff attached to your name online is definitely not optimal, but I believe it's the best option because it ensures that everything is perfectly watertight, with no room for doubt or for Cam to get away out.
Made aware of this, he decided to...
The upside is that your name is pretty generic, and I know you've changed it several times over the past few years. That might be a good idea if you decide to go ahead with this.
Use Liz to try to harm...
And then Liz says, all right.
Camy, doing the bulk of the work in creating a document...
So, yeah.
Meant to expose Camy for predatory and pedophilic behavior. The document was filled with lies and even completely made up paragraphs that were labelled by the document as written by Liz. And yet he hid his involvement and had his loyal editor hahayeah upload it and claim responsibility for the wreck of the document.
So I do believe that this evidence does make it more likely the case that John Swan had an influence on the hahayeah video about what's her face, Piegirl. I don't think it proves it beyond a shadow of a doubt. I do believe that John Swan had at least some level of influence on the making of that video, but I don't know to what extent or how much John contributed to it. I do believe that, like, okay, he probably had at least some level of involvement, regardless of whether or not hahayeah is willing to admit that.
Despite John very, very obviously trying to defame Camy and slander him as a pedophile after the document's released, it was not received that well as clear problems with the document became evident, such as the DM conversations between Liz and Camy contradicting the content of the document itself. Destiny confronted hahayeah on stream about the document, where Matt struggled to defend it under scrutiny.
Did she say ever to him, like, hey, I don't like this, I don't want to talk like this, or this is weird, or?
No.
Well, how was he supposed to know?
Okay, yeah, fair enough, but, like...
Well, don't just fair enough, because now you're trying to destroy his life, right? So here's another question. Has anything abusive actually happened here? Like, is there any evidence of him grooming or ignoring her saying no or anything like that?
Well, okay, no.
Okay, and then my second question is, if I were to start going through these DMs, is she, like, flirting back with him?
Yeah, but, like, so basically she started, like, she just said that she started, like, liking him in these conversations, right?
I will say it's interesting that hahayeah is the one debating this rather than John Swan. I do think that that's like an interesting piece of evidence.
They started what?
Like liking him, like to. I don't know.
Hold on, I don't know what you're saying. Blanking him? Blocking him?
Liking.
Oh, liking him. So she likes him. He's being flirty.
Yeah.
She's not saying no. What are we writing here? What is happening?
Okay.
John Swan was eventually dragged into the call, where he denied having any involvement with the document apart from looking at it prior to its release.
Which turned out to be a complete lie. Okay, I think that based on circumstantial evidence, I think it's reasonable as a conclusion to come to say that John Swan was also involved in the Piegirl video on hahayeah's channel. I don't know if it's a conclusion I'm willing to come to, but I could understand why she would come to that conclusion. I think it's like a reasonable enough conclusion to come to.
Her name was like brought up here like a few times.
I mean, that combined, like the fact that in a very similar situation, John Swan denies participating in the cancellation of this individual, which turns out to be wrong. He was very heavily involved. Combined with the fact that he was fucking obsessed, like he was unhinged when it came to Piegirl, right? He had documents on top of fucking documents of basically just him A-logging Piegirl. So I don't think it's unreasonable to conclude that someone who has a track record of lying and saying that they're not involved in a controversy, someone who has even admitted and leaked voice calls to doing this type of behavior, to wanting to remove himself for optics reasons and not be held accountable, on top of the fact that he was A-logging Piegirl as well the entire time. I think all of that circumstantial evidence combined does make a pretty solid / reasonable case for John Swan being very heavily involved in this. However, I'm not personally comfortable jumping to that conclusion myself, at least not yet. I do think that, if nothing else, he was definitely involved, at least to some extent. The extent to which he was involved, however, I don't know.
What's going on? Were you involved in the creation of a document against Camy?
That's a
I
yes.
I was not directly involved.
Oh god. What does not directly involved mean?
No, I mean I saw it.
Any other document defenders in here?
Was that it? Like, no.
So why is everybody saying that you were directly involved then?
I
got like
don't know.
20 different people DMing me like, dude, John Swan like wrote the document. He was like
I did
the
not do
mastermind
that. I don't know where that's.
okay?
No, that is not true.
Similarly, it seems to be the case that people are saying that John Swan is directly involved with the whole Piegirl situation. Again, people saying something is true doesn't necessarily mean that it's true, but it definitely adds to the holy the holy fuck, this is a lot of evidence, stack of evidence, I guess is what I'd call it.
I quote tweeted it. I don't know. Maybe they thought that was why, but no, I didn't have anything to do with it. I don't know why it's being brought up as fact.
Soon, however.
While it could be the case that Piegirl might be wrong about this, again, Spinnling believes that this is dishonest. I don't see this as dishonest from Piegirl. I don't see this as hypocritical. Like, I don't think that these claims are unsubstantiated based on all of the circumstantial evidence she's shown thus far, right? But, like, this level of analysis and circumstantial evidence against Piegirl was never provided by hahayeah, so that would be the main symmetry breaker, I guess.
He was caught in a lie, as it came out that it was John Swan's idea to make the document in the first place.
I feel like you should...
Also, I feel like, considering the fact that not only is there circumstantial evidence, but the only specific example Spinnling gave me of Piegirl being a hypocrite was her, I guess, falsely accusing hahayeah of having gay furry porn, which really just sounds like a fucking meme to me. I mean, if that's the only example specifically that you can think of, I mean, it's like, okay. So, that's not even close to being on the same level.
No, Sling, I don't know if this was said on stream. So, Matt.
Hello.
Did John come on here and say he had no involvement in the document?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
That's a blatant fucking lie. Okay. I'm not gonna like...
Yeah.
That's a complete lie. And he
Wait.
Hold on,
Are you trying to tell me that John Swan lied on the internet?
No, I'm
Holy
pissed that he
shit.
left this to like a fucking 15-year-old to defend.
John then...
He left it to... So wait, is hahayeah, like the same age as Piegirl then? If that's the case, then it seems like there's also a track record of I guess hahayeah being forced to defend the actions of John Swan and basically cover his ass.
Called him again, admitting to that but saying he didn't have anything to do with the document itself.
So Liz came to me with the story. She basically told me that she felt she was taken advantage of, and that her friends had opened her perspective and said, "Oh, I was taken advantage of, yada yada yada." I saw some of the DMs. I thought this looks pretty bad, and so I gave her some advice. I said, "You could maybe write a doc," and I put her in touch with some of these other people. And I said I'd help out with a doc, but I didn't really end up doing that. But yeah, that's like what happened essentially. To be fair, I did say I would help out with a doc. I did not end up helping out with a doc really. What do you mean? That was when I found out. Yeah.
So when you found out, you said I have the biggest bombshell in history. What server was this sent into, if you don't mind me asking?
It's just a private server.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't tell everyone at the end. I thought I would, and then I ended up not doing that. But no, it was just when I found out initially. I don't know. It was very shocking because I knew Cam as well, right?
Mhm.
Like I was kind of cool with Cam initially. I don't know.
Aiden Projects revealed this to be a lie, and more evidence came out that John was the main person responsible for the situation and the one who wrote the majority of the document. He continuously only admitted to what he couldn't deny at any point in time.
Which, again, this just adds to the circumstantial evidence. So, now, if I'm going to be real, I kind of already concluded this beforehand, but I'm showing you my thought process as I watch this video, right? Like my motive analysis, right? So you'll notice that my conclusions become more and more specific over time. right? They become more and more against John Swan as the circumstantial evidence piles against him, right?
I think that it's fair to say from how John has used others to cover up his tracks, as well as his hiding his role in this video, that he likely wasn't just organising the server-wide effort to create a video with the explicit intention to destroy me, but he had a large part to play in writing the script as well. That, as well as the fact that since he was so invested in it, he certainly would have checked the video or script before its release, means that John Swan created false pedophile allegations against me only a year after getting cancelled for doing the exact same thing. And despite all his claims to have changed, he hasn't admitted to any of this, because as we've seen, he only admits to what he knows others know, not—
Exactly. If he has a means of not taking accountability, he will take those means. He's admitted himself in the leaked voice chat that we already witnessed. So, yes, this is provably true.
anything he can still escape responsibility from.
If you know the answer, then you know the answer.
So you did it!
That's what I'm gonna say. I
John, come on! I'm not.
No, I'm not. I don't know. Who knows?
So, I know everything. There's no reason to not just tell me.
If you know, then you know. That's what I'm gonna say.
It's on his WhatsApp.
No, it's not me that sent that.
The kid sent it?
I don't know who that is. Shitty screenshot.
So this is why I titled the stream the way I did. The false accusers of Piegirls need to be held accountable. Or should be held accountable, or whatever I titled it as. I don't remember the specific wording. Is because of this. John Swan will do anything to not be held accountable for his actions. So I think that is why it's so fitting.
Shots coming from third hand doesn't mean a thing.
So you're basically just...
That's also not to remove autonomy from hahayeah. But or say that he shouldn't also be held accountable. I think that they should both be held accountable.
Okay with saying that, it didn't happen because Tro's not going to put up a screenshot.
Yes.
A large part of me wants to let Matt off the hook now, because as we've seen from the Camy drama, he's probably just the front for the malicious operation, and John is the mastermind behind it.
I think that they're both in the wrong. I don't think that either of them should be let off the hook. I mean, they're both creating and spreading false pedo accusations, right? I don't know.
So, Skipper, who I've been told was for a time in the private group chat where the video was planned, should probably answer what exactly his involvement was in this and whether he had prior knowledge of the content of the video too. In the Camy situation, Dr. Skipper was aware of the blatantly false accusations before it became public, maliciously gloating about it before its release and implying Camy was guilty. Once the allegations started to be criticised and John got in trouble, Skipper pretended like he knew nothing.
I know nothing.
In fact, once people started to call Skipper out, he actively dodged social media, in his words, keeping his head in the sand, and just weaselly waited for everything to go away without him even acknowledging anything or apologising to Camy.
Skipper deleted all his tweets about Camy, both on his main account and alternate Camy account, and says that he only heard about the news and was preemptively shitting on him up to its release despite not seeing the document or a single screenshot yet, basically admitting to everyone he's an asshole who was itching to see Camy's life get ruined, so much in fact that he couldn't wait and just had to start shitting on him the instant he heard the news.
Again, at the end of the day, it's just another example of a false accuser or somebody that perpetuates false allegations not wanting to be held accountable for their shitty actions.
He then makes a final post saying he's gonna stick his head in the sand and dips out from the drama entirely, seeing that it wasn't working in his favor anymore.
Makes sense why he chameleoned his personality from wholesome ultra nice guy to insufferable egotist. Everyone who has been confirmed to have been involved in the creation of that video, especially hahayeah and especially John Swan, should be treated just like anyone else who spreads false pedophile allegations. As I mentioned earlier, about 2
Agreed. I think that they should be given the same treatment that I'm Alex was given, right? With the whole Slazo situation.
months after returning to the internet, the video was sent to my extended family by an unknown doxer. Now, who could this mysterious doxer be? Now, I want to preface this by saying we have literally no idea of 100% knowing, since, well, they're anonymous, but we can narrow it down and work out what sort of person might have done it. First of all, the doxer would need to know who I am and be aware of the allegations surrounding me and the hahayeah video. For them to feel the want to go in this effort to attack me means they are deeply aware of my existence. Based on this, it's pretty certain the doxer was either a member of, or lurking within, the commentary community. Second, the doxer had to have the means to dox me and my family. While I've changed things so that it's no longer possible, I now know how this happened. However, to do this would need my real name, which I've not made public. The only times I've ever told anyone my real name were when I accidentally leaked it twice in tweet screenshots, both times of which I deleted the tweets within a few minutes after being DM'd by Jaco both times that I'd accidentally doxed my name. This means whoever doxed me likely has to keep close tabs on me and save tweets I make right after making them, which also means
Interesting.
the doxer would have to be someone weirdly obsessed with me and hyperfixated on retaining damaging information about me.
Oh boy, I wonder who that could be.
As well, the Doxer needs to not only have an obsession with me, but a seething hatred of me up to at least 2022. Because going to all this effort in hurting me in such a disgusting and personal way through a pretty complicated method means that whoever did it has deep personal problems with me, probably but not necessarily knowing me. Now, the personality. Who would have the personality to go as far as to dox someone months after a drama? And most doxers are dumb trolls who do the most immature stuff possible. This was a complex plan to hurt me by going after my family. This likely was done by someone who clearly knew what they were doing. I mean, they created an anonymous account that couldn't be traced back to them, to leak media they thought was damaging to me. Who could possibly do that?
You create a new Twitter account with a number that none of you have registered, so we get someone else to make a Google Voice number or something, and then we leak it through that, so it has no ties to literally anyone.
I'm guessing it was somebody that doesn't want to be held accountable.
Pure malice to be willing to destroy someone's life over false allegations is also something not many people have. Whoever did this needs the capacity for malicious revenge to the utmost extreme. Finally, whoever doxed my family would need to hold Matt's video in high regard. They must think it's damning, good, and the main problem with it is that it wasn't spread far enough to destroy me. They need to actively hope for the success of the video. There's the motive, the skills to carry out the act, the mindset needed to feel compelled to do the act, and similar behavior. I'm not quite sure who could fulfill all these criteria, but if someone did, despite being extremely sus, you should remember currently there is no hard proof anyone did it, so don't go harass anyone.
Now, the reason I didn't talk very much during this segment is because I think that this is very important, right? This goes to show that even though it'd be easy to be like, it was John Swan, right? Like, it's like, okay, yeah, it's definitely, if nothing else, funnier if it was, right? It's like, yeah, it all makes sense, right? Notice how, despite having every motive to say that it was John Swan, it had to have been John Swan. Look at all of the circumstantial evidence. It still wasn't enough evidence for her to accuse John Swan. So, if anything, despite what Spinnling had said in the VC prior to sort of conceding his point, seems like, if anything, she's not a hypocrite. If anything, she's being the bigger person. She's not spreading false accusations if it's convenient. I mean, it would make sense if she were to. If she were to be like, the only person that would have a reason to do this is John Swan, right? But instead, she's done the opposite. She's not a hypocrite. Even though having every reason to want to ruin John Swan, she still holds herself to a much higher standard than what John Swan holds himself to. And I think that there's something beautiful about that, right? Again, not going to watch the entire video on the stream. I'm going to leave a link to it in the description below, like I did last time I streamed talking about this. I highly recommend that anyone who hasn't checked it out checks it out. And now it's time for a fit check. Move chat. Hold on. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, be sure to let me know by smashing like. I love how flustered she gets when chat breaks her concentration. I didn't let it get to me. I saw that message, I just didn't read it out loud. Oh, whoa, indeed. Femyoz is a smoking hot babe. Why, thank you. You always look so cute. Why, thank you. I'm an OG Femyoz fan since February 2023, and now we all just down bad or real. Read kick chat. I wasn't reading any chat. Low-key Femyoz making us wait for the fit check is so hot. Sounds like bottom behavior from you, Batao Crafter. You don't want to take accountability for the fact that you want to get proud. I think I already read that. You always look so cute. Why, thank you. I appreciate that. I very much appreciate that. And, yeah. Smash like, everybody. And I will see you all in the you're not a bottom? I don't know. The fact that you seem kind of submissive if nothing else. You know. Low-key, Femyoz making us wait for the fit check is so hot. Yeah, it doesn't sound very dominant of you. You're the bottom? Nuh-uh, you're the bottom. You deserve lots of smooches. Aw, thank you. But yeah, I think it's good to do streams like this. I think it's rewarding. It's fun. Might put these VODs on Spotify at some point, who knows? If so, stay tuned for that, I guess. I don't know. I want you to be the mother of my children. Well, goddamn. I see. Anyways. How do I say this? Yeah, I'm ending stream now. Sorry. And, yeah, if you enjoyed this, if you thought it was informative, or you agree with me, and the points I've made, if you thought I made good points, if you think that it was entertaining, whatever, if you made it all the way till this point, I mean, you had to have been entertained at least to some extent to stay this long. And if that's the case, I highly recommend supporting the channel by just smashing the like button. It's like one click, one tap if you're on mobile. I'm just saying. It boosts me algorithmically, helps me do what I do. You know, the more people that see this, the better. Thank you for gracing us with your cuteness. Why, thank you for calling me cute. I appreciate it. And, you're welcome, I guess. Yeah. Anyways. Smash the like and subscribe for more content. And, yeah. I will see you all in the next one. Unless I die in a tragic house fire, of course. Goodbye.